Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. And man, oh man, we got a big show today. We got a lot to cover. There is massive news coming out of Greenland and Denmark with Trump. I'm going to lead with that today. And I know you've heard these liberal lies that ICE, they're just going around arresting American citizens. Oh boy, I've got the true story about that, and we're going to hear from their phony U.S. citizen who was arrested person on the program today and get into the full story on that as well. We've got about 40 seconds until the radio show starts, and we'll be taking your calls. The number is pinned in the live chat, okay? You will not want to miss a moment of today's show. This is... If you're not on the Trump train, you should be, and you will be if you listen to what I have to say today about everything going on with everything. All right, we got about 10 seconds, so stand by, guys. Very exciting. All right, welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. This is where MAGA comes to talk, and we got a lot to cover today. There's a lot of stories in the news I'm going to go through, but just to give you a sneak peek, there's two major stories. Got a big story that I'm going to start with involving Greenland, Denmark, and President Trump. This is huge what's happening. We're going to get into that. And, you know this liberal talking point. In fact, I got a call yesterday from a guy about this. You hear this liberal talking point that ICE, they're running around in Minneapolis. They're arresting U.S. citizens. Oh, boy. I got the true story of that, including you're going to hear from this U.S. citizen that was arrested, in quotation marks. If you could see me, I'd have the quotation marks up, next to my head. This, oh boy, I tell you, I can't wait to get to all this stuff and your calls. The left have nothing but vacuous talking points. They don't care about truth. They don't care about reality. They just want to have a phrase, a talking point, a sentence that they can scream out and say, that's the way it is. And as always, they are wrong. President Trump is always right. So I want to start with Greenland. This is massive. And before I get into this on Greenland, those of you that are not on the Trump train, those of you that are not MAGA, those of you that are living in denial, the liberals, the never-Trumpers, this is something you've got to get your head around. Greenland is already a part of the United States. It's been decided by President Trump. Now, this is the president last night on the tarmac. He was at the game last night. Did you see the crowd go nuts in Miami for President Trump when they showed the president during the national anthem? The crowd went nuts because they love Trump. They love Trump. And this is the president. He was asked by a fake news reporter on the tarmac about Greenland.
What do you plan to say to European leaders in Davos when they push back on your Greenland plan?
Well, I don't think they're going to push back too much. Look, we have to have it. They have to have this done. They can't protect it. Denmark, they're wonderful people. And I know the leaders are very good people, but they don't even go there. And, because the boat went there 500 years ago and then left, that doesn't give you title to property. So we'll
That's
be
right.
talking about it with the various people. We've had tremendous success, and I've done more for NATO than anybody else. I don't think you'd have NATO right now. I got them to go 5% and pay as opposed to 2% and not pay. I've done more than any other American president for NATO by far. And we'll see how that goes. But Greenland is very important.
Yeah, and it's the United States. Okay, so that's the president last night. And the president is not messing around. Now, over the weekend, there were these massive fake news stories about protest in Greenland. Greenlanders stood up. We love Denmark. We want to be a part of Denmark. Did you see all this stuff? And then yesterday I played a clip. The Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, was on with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press over the weekend. If you're on hold, stand by. We will get to the calls in just a bit. Kristen Welker had Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, on, and he just mentioned in passing during the discussion that there were forced sterilizations that Denmark was doing in Greenland up until the 80s and 90s. Well, people heard that, started looking into it. Not only is it true, Denmark acknowledges this. Listen to this. This is reporting from the Gateway Pundit, the New York Post, and others, including direct admissions from Greenland. I want to go through this. This is amazing. Here's the headline. Native Greenlanders reveal horrors under Danish rule, including years of forced sterilization and removal of children. Uh-oh, that's right. In an exclusive report, the New York Post spoke with native Greenlanders about some of the disturbing abuse under Danish rule, including hundreds, and actually the number's higher, which I'll get into in a bit, including hundreds of Greenlandic women and girls who were forcibly given contraception between 1960 and 1991. Between 1966 and 1970, just in that 4-year period, over 4,500 women and girls, some as young as 12 years old, had IUDs implanted. Forced contraception, forced sterilization. The forced contraception was part of centuries of Danish policies that dehumanized Greenlanders and their families and included policies that removed young Inuit children from their parents. These are the great people you liberals are supporting in Denmark. In 1951, the Little Danes experiment, listen to this, oh my goodness. The 1951 Little Danes experiment removed Inuit children from the country and sent them to live with Danish foster families for re-education and controversial parental competency test, which resulted in the forced separation of Greenlandic families. So they're sterilizing women and girls as young as 12, as you'll find, without their knowledge. They're stealing their children and taking them off to Denmark. No, this is Nazi-like stuff, and I really got to wonder what was Denmark doing during the Second World War? Did the Nazis that survived and escaped make their way to Denmark? The New York Post. I'll be mispronouncing a lot of these Danish names. My apologies. The New York Post reports this. Amarok Peterson was 27 years old when she learned the gut-wrenching truth about why she couldn't have children, and that Denmark was to blame. Suffering from severe uterine problems, a medical doctor discovered an IUD birth control device in her body that she didn't know she had. Danish doctors had implanted it when she was just 13 years old as part of a population control program for thousands of native Greenlandic girls and women. So, when Greenland, by the way, it was a year ago today that we had our great president inaugurated for his second and non-consecutive term. And when Greenland was first part of the discussion at the beginning of last year, I think many of us, I know I was surprised that the population of this massive landmass of Greenland was just 50,000. Now we know why. Denmark has been doing population control through forced sterilization and other things. Peterson told the New York Post, "I will never have children," with tears of anger and sorrow welling in her eyes. That choice was taken from me by Denmark. Following a 2-year investigation, independent researchers have released a report on the forced sterilization. Denmark's prime minister issued an apology to Greenland, which is a confession. In August 2025, in a written statement, the Denmark prime minister said this, "We cannot change what has happened, but we can take responsibility. Therefore, on the behalf of Denmark, I'd like to say I apologize. Oh, well, that makes it all better. I apologize. You got a Nazi apologizing. Oh, the Nazis apologized? Oh, well, yeah, all right. The Denmark Prime Minister also acknowledged the case had caused anger and sadness for many Greenlanders and many families and damaged perceptions of Denmark. Even without a full picture pending ongoing investigation, it made a serious impression that so many women reported abuse by the Danish healthcare system. During a ceremony on September 24th of 2025 on behalf of Denmark, I apologize, says the Prime Minister. It has been a betrayal that has had major consequences for Greenlandic girls and women too. Now that's just the beginning. There's more. But first, we're going to take a break. And I want to tell you guys, it is tax season. I've been getting my tax documents in the mail already, getting everything together. It's time to call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. Jamie Levac, he knows the new tax code inside and out. And he'll make sure that you get the maximum deduction that you are allowed to and entitled to under the new tax code in the big, beautiful bill. If you already have an accountant, call Jamie Levac. Have him review your taxes. If you've never used an accountant, call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. You're paying money in taxes you shouldn't be paying. Don't use that TurboTax. Don't use that guy outside the checkout line at Walmart or whatever other retail store you see him in. Don't go to H&R Block. Call Jamie Levac of Swift Tax. He can help you with your taxes no matter where you are in the United States, and not just your federal taxes. He can help you with your state taxes, your business taxes, your local taxes, your payroll taxes, even your bookkeeping. Give Jamie Levac a call or text. This number rings directly to Jamie Levac, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. Back after this. All right. We're in break on the radio. It gets worse. This is just the beginning, guys. It's just the beginning. There's much more that we're going to share on this when we get back. Oh, my goodness. The thing about this is, how this is happening, right? Why is this out all of a sudden? It's because the president is tired of dealing with these Nazis over there in the Kingdom of Denmark, and he is giving Denmark a little sample of what the world is going to see of them and their disgusting country if they don't just do what he wants to do, which is give us Denmark. There's no getting around it. Yeah, guys, Jamie Levac. If you've never used an accountant, call Jamie Levac. Do you know, I forgot to mention this. First off, you can get, he's very great. He's very good at what he does. Man, he knows his taxes. He'll get you all those deductions you're entitled to, get you that maximum tax return. You can get your tax return in as little as 24 hours with Jamie Levac as well from Swift Tax. So no matter where you're located, give him a call. 954-773-1587. You heard me right. You can get your return in as little as 24 hours. 954-773-1587. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. If you're on hold, stand by. When we get back, I'm going to finish up with this story, and then we're going to get into the truth of ICE arresting U.S. citizens. And the Democrats, oh boy. Oh, boy. Another Democrat talking point is going to be exposed on the program. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We are in a radio station break right now. So if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. Oh, man. This is not good for Denmark. I wonder what other things Denmark has done other than this. I mean, this is pretty bad, but Denmark, we got 1 minute and we'll be back. Denmark, they're basically a bunch of Nazis. And do you guys agree with me that Trump is getting this out there just to give Denmark an idea of what they're facing? Now, someone said the U.S. did similar experiments. No, and these are things that were going on in the 1980s and 90s. So people that are alive today and in positions of power were a part of this. The United States didn't do anything like this. This is Nazi behavior. And anything you might use as an example was before any living person was alive, or even our grandparents in most instances. So no, it's a much different thing. All right, stand by, 15 seconds. We're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. All right. So if you're just tuning in, you missed a lot, but there's more. So it turns out that Denmark, the Kingdom of Denmark, basically is the Fourth Reich, and they're a bunch of Nazis over there who have been involved in, by their own admission, last year they confessed that they did these things. Denmark has been giving women in Denmark forced sterilization and forced birth control, and even snatching their children away. And not just women, girls as young as 12 have been sterilized. And in Greenland, and the reason they were doing this was population control. Population control. And this is how they've maintained this tiny little Fourth Reich kingdom of Denmark. This is how they've maintained control over such a massive landmass that they can steal all the resources from, is by keeping the population 50,000. I mean, this is sick. So look at this. I found this on Wikipedia, and there's a Wikipedia. And by the way, all of this information I'm sharing is on my X at Brian Craig Show. Okay, Wikipedia has a Wikipedia article about forced sterilizations around the world. Listen to this. Denmark, 11,000 people were sterilized by Denmark from 1929 to 1967. The forced sterilization program was mainly directed at people who were, they say, mentally handicapped. Because of the popularity of eugenics at the time in Denmark, during the 60s and 70s, thousands of Greenlandic Inuit women and girls had IUDs placed without their consent. The birth rate in Greenland was reduced by about 50%. Denmark and Greenland agreed to hold a 2-year investigation into the program, known as the Spiral Case. Until June 11, 2014, sterilization was legal in Denmark. Oh my goodness. So now we have 11,000, and Denmark has confessed this. The Council on Foreign Relations, Denmark issues apology to Greenland over forced sterilization. Oh my goodness. This is what Greenland has had to deal with. They've been under Nazi rule. Council of Foreign Relations, hundreds left infertile after campaign to control Greenland's population. After a 2-year investigation, independent researchers have released a report on the forced sterilization of Greenlandic women and girls by Danish doctors since the 60s. Between 1966 and 1970, over 4,500 women and girls, some as young as 12, had IUDs implanted. From the testimonies of 410 cases in the report, 349 involved health complications. Greenlandic girls were often given contraception without consent or knowledge. Several reports of women receiving injections left them infertile. Although Greenland gained independence from Danish colonial rule in 1953, Denmark oversaw their health care until 1992. The nearly 350-page report was the final step of the investigation, ordered by Greenland and Denmark, but the authors outline that courts must determine if the abuses violated Danish and human rights law. A lawsuit is ongoing from a group of 143 women, 138 of whom were underage at the time of being sterilized, who were fighting for compensation. Oh my goodness. So these modern-day Nazis in Greenland, what's going on here, okay? Could you imagine what they've done that we don't know about? This is only what they got caught doing. This is only what they have admitted doing. Now, I know some people will say, well, some liberals, and I want you to think about this, liberals, okay? This is a very important thing for you to understand. Now, some people on the left may say the United States did the same thing. That is not true. That is not true. Now, that does not mean that Democrats, with Margaret Sanger and such, did some terrible things with Planned Parenthood. There's no question about that. However, that is not the United States government. What happened here in Greenland was done by the government of Denmark, not some random rogue political lunatics like we have in the Democrat Party. This was official policy of the government of Denmark to maintain control over their colony of Greenland. And it was going on all the way up until the time that Bill Clinton was president. So anything you point to involving this country, one, it was not official policy of the U.S. government, rogue people inside the country, the Democrat Party doing terrible things. So it wasn't official U.S. policy. Number two, anything you point to happened a long time ago, before any of us were alive. This is something where the people involved at every level of it are still alive. So what do you Democrats have to say for yourselves? What do you have to say for yourselves? You're supporting a colonial European power that has a king, right? You're supporting a white European power with a king who is demanding colonial control over a non-white minority native population in Greenland. And now we find out they're doing forced sterilization, forced birth control, stealing children away from women and girls. And they were doing this with girls as young as 12 years old, without their knowledge and against their will. This is who you're supporting. You are supporting, in Denmark, modern day Nazis. Now, Denmark's been around for a long time. So why are we learning about this now? Denmark, Greenland? Well, what's going on here is the Trump administration is putting this out there so Greenland can get an idea of what they can expect. That if they don't play ball and they keep fighting us on this already decided thing that we're going to get Greenland, that Denmark's darkest, sickest, most twisted secrets are going to be known to the world. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Coming up, I have the truth about ICE arresting U.S. citizens. We're going to get to that, and you're going to hear from their American citizen as well on the program. Don't miss any of that. Our number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I want to talk about the next governor of the great state of Minnesota, Mike Lindell. Huge savings at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. I talked to Mike Lindell. I always tell him the same thing. I live in a MyPillow household. And I remember the first time I told Mike Lindell I live in a MyPillow household, he says, well, what does that mean? I said, I have every one of your pillows. I have your mattress. I have your mattress topper. I have your towels. I have your 100% Giza cotton dream sheets. I even have the Percale sheets. Okay? I have your slippers. I have all the MyPillow products. I even got the energy drink, which is delicious. I have all of these MyPillow products. And all but the first I bought with the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, because they weren't with us as a sponsor then. I tried every pillow in the world to get a good night's sleep. I tried bamboo pillows, foam pillows, every pillow in the world. I got this bamboo pillow from Brookstone that cost over $200. Threw it in the garbage. It was worthless. And my wife got me the first MyPillow. And I'm like, whatever, what difference can a pillow make? And boom, did I know what a difference a pillow made, starting on the first night. And I've never slept with another pillow since. I even take my pillows on our MAGA cruise. with me. So go to mypillow.com. You can use our promo code site-wide on all the specials at mypillow.com. That's promo code KANE, K-A-N-E at checkout. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back. All right, we're clear. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take calls when we get back. So don't go anywhere. The number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Roofing. Happy New Year, health, wealth, and happiness, and may 2026 be your best year. The first quarter of each year is the slowest for roofing contractors across Florida due to the lack of rain, vacationers, and recuperating from the holiday spend. We have secured 2024 pricing on certain roofing materials with our suppliers for the first quarter only. So if you are planning on a new roof in 2026, take advantage of our first quarter low pricing now. These savings are significant, especially for multiple building HOA and condo associations. This covers shingles, tiles, and flat roof systems, so give me a call on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laportaroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602 or on the web at laportaroofing.com.
What if we've been asking the wrong questions about aliens all along? When people talk about non-human intelligence, they look to the skies, to UAPs, to massive craft and towering beings. But what if some of them have been here the entire time, much smaller and hiding in plain sight? In When the Fae Came, available online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon, author Martin Thomas explores a provocative idea that the beings we've called fairies, elves, dwarfs, and goblins may not be myth at all, but advanced non-human intelligences. Drawing from global sightings and early research, When the Fae Came connects underground and underwater colonies across places like Mexico, Canada, Malaysia, and Europe. Beings capable of invisibility, flight, and telepathic communication. This isn't fantasy, it's an investigation into how ancient stories may be misunderstood encounters with something real. If you're curious about where folklore ends and non-human intelligence begins, When the Fae Came asks questions most researchers avoid. Order your copy of When the Fae Came from author Martin Thomas online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon. On the line, we have Lewis. He had some issues with some taxes in past years, and he called Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax, and Jamie took good care of him. Lewis, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. So tell me how Jamie from Swift Tax helped you on your taxes.
I was having trouble with another company. I called Jamie, and the next day I brought my wife in there with all the paperwork, and he straightened all my back taxes out, and I'm actually getting money back now.
Wow, this is pretty amazing. So this other company you went to told you owed the government money, and Jamie over at Swift Tax took a look and found out that not only did you not owe money, you're getting money back from the government?
Yes, I got nice big checks coming soon.
Do what Lewis did. Call Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. All right, we have about 40 seconds. We'll be back. I will go to the phones. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll free. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. And the number is pinned in the live chat if you're watching live. All right, less than 20 seconds. Not a good day to be a Democrat. If there's ever such a thing as a good day to be a Democrat. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Just breaking massive news on the Nazi-like treatment that Denmark has been persecuting the natives of Greenland with for, well, it looks like 100 years at least. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Kevin, I'm calling from Canada.
Hey, Canada, what's on your mind? Yeah, Canada calling. What's on your mind, Kevin from Canada?
I don't understand.
One moment. Go ahead. Yeah. All right, Kevin from Canada, you don't understand what?
The admonishment of Democrats. You say, what do you have to say for yourselves? What do you have to say for yourself regarding anything up until this morning or yesterday, until you started using eugenics as a reason to take over Greenland?
Well, they're terrible people. But I'm going to respond to the.
They're terrible people.
Yes, they're sterilizing 12-year-old girls.
How dare you, man?
They've sterilized 12-year-old little girls. That's not terrible in Canada?
Take a peek at the Catholic Church and what they did to Native Indian.
The Catholic Church is not the United States government. And by the way, you're talking about the Catholic Church in Canada. You're talking about Canada did some of this crap too. Yeah, I know Canada's bad too.
They passed them around.
Yeah, I know.
Like they were
That's Canada, not us. Now you mentioned about Democrats.
Okay, then let's talk smallpox.
You wanted to
have a blanket to keep you nice and warm during the cold. Here you go.
I'm trying to answer your question, and I do believe in Canada you do have manners. Okay, you asked what's the problem with Democrats, okay, that I have with Democrats.
No. I asked why you are admonishing and saying how dare you Democrats.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell you. You gave an example about smallpox and some blankets that were given to the Indians. Do you know who did that?
The government.
The Democrats.
Listen, why is it that when even Trump makes the assumption, I didn't know that it was Republicans who started segregation, blah, blah, blah.
That's not true. Republicans didn't start segregation.
Why is it?
Republicans No. Republicans ended slavery and ended segregation. Segregation and slavery were Democrats.
Thank you for making my point for me. I say this because when it is said to somebody in today's world, they are blown away because it's just assumed that the only party basically evil enough to have kept it in power would be the Republicans.
No, Republicans ended slavery and ended segregation. The Democrats were the party of the slave master and segregation. I don't expect a Canadian to know the truth of American history.
In the South. And
that's where the slaves were. That's where the slaves were, man.
Your commander, you going to call your commander-in-chief on American history?
What are you talking about?
The
slaves were in the South, Canada.
Took over the skies during the American Revolution.
What? What are you talking about?
When Trump's speech, when he spoke of how they rammed the ramparts. And then they commanded the skies over the American over America.
The rocket's red glare. The rocket's red glare. That's in the sky, man. Hey, listen. I'm sorry you're from Canada.
He said airports.
He didn't say airports. Hey, Canada. I appreciate the call. Eh? All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Joan from Tampa Bay.
Hey, Joan. Oh, my goodness. That poor Canadian.
That guy in Canada is like off the wall.
Yes.
He doesn't even know the history. But anyway, Denmark was basically trying to do genocide to that population.
Well, they were, and they kept the population at 50,000. It's like Logan's Run. Right, it's like the Dome City and Logan's Run.
And these libtards, they're like, oh, yeah, let Greenland stay with Denmark. Well, I don't know.
No, they don't want to stay with Denmark. They've got some paid-off hacks. Like, there's paid-off hacks we got in Minneapolis. They got paid-off hacks in Greenland. What Greenland is to Denmark, it's a concentration camp is what it is. Forced sterilization, forced birth control, stealing children.
What about these libtards? My body, my choice. Those women were not given any choice.
And no, but my body, my choice. They're anti. They're no kings, and they don't like colonizers. But they're supporting all of those things when it comes to Denmark over Greenland. This story about the forced sterilizations and such. If this was 150 years ago, it would be just a mention. But Bill Clinton was president, and they were still doing it.
They're barbaric. It's abominable.
Nazis. They're Nazis.
They are. They are Nazi, undoubtedly. Anyway, you have a good day.
Well, thank you. And Greenland will have a great day when they leave the Fourth Reich. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Are you calling me? Oh, hey, how's it going? Calling from California.
All right, California. What's on your mind? Yes.
I have some questions for you.
Well, pick your best. Hold on. This is not an exclusive one-on-one interview. Pick your best question, profanity-free, and start with that one.
So, explain to me your whole angle.
I can't understand what you're saying. Take your mouth away from the receiver a little bit, okay?
Can you hear me better now?
I'm trying to understand you. Okay, ask your best question.
All right, so my main issue is with the basis of what you're claiming with Greenland. First off, none of what you've said is true.
The Prime Minister of Greenland admitted it and apologized to the women of Greenland. I read the admission and apology from the Prime Minister of Greenland last year.
Where did you read that from?
The New York Post.
Prove it.
It's on my X. Go to my X. Go to my X, Brian Craig Show. The article is there. What do you want me to fly to California with it and show it to you?
The social media platform, yes.
The New York Post is the most read newspaper in New York City. The New York and the Prime Minister of Denmark last year admitted it and apologized.
Okay, so if we're going to continue with your lie,
it's not a lie. Why would it's not a lie?
You can say whatever you want.
The Prime Minister of Denmark said this.
Well, that's if you say it.
There's also all these articles are on my X at Brian Craig Show.
Yeah, so share it on social media.
It is on X, Brian Craig Show on X. It used to be Twitter. It's there.
News. Fake news. That's your whole problem. So my next question, if you're ready.
Yes.
If you're ready, all right. What do you think you're going to do with this Greenland thing? What's your whole aim? What are you trying to
The president is going to protect you and the president is there's something called the Golden Dome, which is I'm answering your question, Cal. Excuse me. I am answering your question. But excuse me for talking while you're interrupting. Excuse me, I'm answering your idiotic question.
You deserve to be heard. You listen to me.
Listen to you.
Children.
Listen to you. I don't think so. Thank you for your call. President Trump says he needs Greenland for the Golden Dome. That's it. That's why. To protect us all in North America from missile attack from Russia. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Alex Vela. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Hey, Minnesota. What's on your mind?
So I'm just wondering, they said about the Democrats, or they're the party of, what was it, the slavery
Correct.
and all that stuff.
That's true.
Why don't they ever talk about, why don't they ever talk about the realignment?
What realignment? I love it. You talk about the big party
all
split.
these Southern families all these Southern Democratic families, political families, went on to become Republicans. They're the Republicans of the
Tell
South
me who.
right now.
Tell me who you're talking about.
The Dixiecrats.
The Dixiecrats? Tell me what you know about the Dixiecrats.
Strom Thurmond.
Mm-hmm. And?
What do you mean, man? Strom Thurmond. You told me to tell you.
He's one, but you said Dixiecrats. That implies
Jesse
plural.
Helms. Jesse Helms.
Nope.
Jesse Helms.
Nope.
Richard Shelby. John Conley of Texas. Trent Lott of Mississippi.
John Conley was a Democrat.
Texas,
Okay.
Mills E. Godwin
All right.
Jr.
All right. Okay, Minnesota. Yeah, you ready? The Dixiecrats, I'll tell you the real story about the Dixiecrats. Are you ready? By the way,
We're
Conley
not gonna
Conley
tell the
was
real
shot
story.
and Conley was shot with Kennedy. He was in the car with President Kennedy in the front seat and got shot. You just mentioned that. You probably didn't know that, stupid.
In the 60s. In the
Okay.
60s.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's when the Dixiecrats were around, dum-dum. Okay.
Right. His
Okay.
family went on
Here's
to-
what
his
let
family
me
went
let
on to
me
be
excuse
Republicans.
me. Excuse me. Let me respond. All right, you ready? You're going to learn something.
They're all
right?
related to modern day Republicans.
You're about to learn something about the Dixiecrats. The Dixiecrats, there were about the exact number I don't recall. It was in the
already
low.
know about
It was.
Dixiecrats, man.
Excuse
All
me.
right, I didn't
I
know you
can't.
were
I
gonna
can't
say
respond
live
if you
stuff.
won't stop talking. Okay. The Dixiecrats. There were 20 some odd Dixiecrats, 22 to 25, something around there. Okay, and they were Democrats that were opposed to ending Jim Crow and segregation. When that was settled, thanks to the Republican votes in both houses of Congress, every Dixiecrat except one went back to the Democrat Party, including Al Gore Sr., Al Gore's father. Every Dixiecrat except Strom Thurmond went back to the Democrat Party, every single one of them. They didn't teach you that in Minnesota, did they? Hello?
Oh, you got me, man.
McFly, yeah,
What about
on that
something?
we'll agree. Yes, on that we'll agree. I got you. Oh man, do you or someone you know suffer from neuropathy? You may have neuropathy and you don't even know it. If you have numbness, pain, burning, tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching, you've fallen down all the time. You have the feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet. Maybe you have no feeling at all. If you have those symptoms, you may have neuropathy. The symptoms of neuropathy make life pretty unbearable. It's living torture, but there is a solution. Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. They rid Steve Kane of his neuropathy and many listeners in this audience as well. Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy, a treatment that works, and a treatment that lasts. Steve Kane had his neuropathy treatment over 3.5 years ago now. And you know what? Not only did he see immediate relief after the first treatment, they relieved him of his neuropathy symptoms, and over 3.5 years later, they have not returned. Lighthouse Medical can help you no matter where you're located. They're in Pompano, but if you can't make it to Pompano, that's okay. Give them a call. They can help you over the phone with your neuropathy. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. If you're on hold, stand by. Back after this.
What do you plan to say to European leaders in Davos when they push back on your Greenland plan?
Well, I don't think they're going to push back too much. Look, we have to have it. They have to have this done. They can protect it. Denmark, they're wonderful people. And I know the leaders, they're very good people, but they don't even go there. And, you know, because the boat went there 500 years ago and then left, that doesn't give you title to property. So we'll be talking about it with the various people. We've had tremendous success, and I've done more for NATO than anybody else. I don't think you'd have NATO right now. I got them to go 5% and pay as opposed to 2% and not pay. I've done more than any other American president for NATO by far. And we'll see how that goes, but Greenland is very important.
Yeah, there it is. It's already decided. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back shortly. Oh, man. If you would like to call in, the number is toll free. It's pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. And I'll go to the calls when we get back. A lot of frustration out there. I get it. You know, all this truth. Truth hurts. These liberals, they're having a hard time with all this truth. Okay. Okay, we'll be back shortly. I'm going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, there's more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for now, man. It's everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man, and Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. All right, we got less than a minute. And I haven't even gotten into the story of ICE arresting U.S. citizens. I can't wait for that one. Oh, yep. If you're on hold, hang in there. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 30 seconds. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. Oh, boy. Yes. Welcome, everyone. Here we go. 15 seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Darlene from Northern Kentucky.
Northern Kentucky. What's on your mind?
You said that we never did this kind of stuff in the United States. Well, we didn't, maybe not the U.S. government, but unfortunately there were a lot of states that had these, they called them compulsory sterilization laws on the books. Virginia's situation is the most famous.
That's not the U.S. government. We can't talk about rogue Democrats running around. The Democrats have been doing abortions and everything else, right?
Brian, but it's a little disingenuous to just.
No, it's not disingenuous. It's not disingenuous. By the way, I will argue with you. Don't tell me what to do. When did this happen? When did the Democrats? Excuse me. When did the Democrats do this in Virginia?
1924.
1924. So the demo. Okay, slow down. So 102 years ago, some Democrats did some terrible things. This was 1992 in Denmark and Greenland. Okay, this wasn't over a century ago, and it was their national government, not some rogue faction inside of it.
I get that. I just wanted to call in to kind of clarify a little
bit. Oh, yeah,
to
do your hate America? To do your hate America rant? Get off the phone, you hate America. Damn, oh my goodness. These people. I'm sorry. You're backing Nazis. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Brian, how you doing? This is Ronnie Big W from West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach? What say you?
Yes, sir. You can't talk to stupid idiots. I'm going to say it like that starting off, because it is profound that these people have been doing that to these. I just can't believe it, I mean, I think they all should be in trouble for what they have done.
What are you talking about? You're talking about Denmark and what they've done to the natives of Greenland? It's awful.
It's horrible. It is horrible. How would they like to be done like that? See, the people that speak like that, they are demons. If the word is called demon-craft, it was changed to Democrats, but it's demon-craft, and they're wicked. All the stuff they have done has not been progress. It has been pure destruction.
Yeah.
And it's just profound that they have done that to those people. Young girls like that, and this guy is talking to justify some stuff like that. He needs to You know, if I was Trump, I would cut all these wicked people off. They are no good for us. They don't do anything for us but to destroy and cause chaos. That's all they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And you know, the Democrats, you know, here, look at what the Democrats are supporting now. And look, we get this hate. Well, in Virginia, the Democrats in Virginia did the same thing. Listen, you're not going to get me, you know, explaining the Democrats. The Democrats have done terrible things to minorities in this country.
They have. It seems like, as from a young child, that's all I have heard of things they have done. Wicked stuff. You're right. They are the party of destruction. They are the party of pure destruction. And people need to wake up and see who is justifiable and who is not. And if you can't see that, then what the good Lord said, people will suffer for the lack of truth.
And you got to wonder. This is just the first information we found about Denmark. What else have they been doing to the poor native people in Greenland that we don't know about yet?
You say, and this has been going on for 100 years?
Bill Clinton was president when they got caught.
Oh my goodness, this is profound. They will have to pay for that.
Well, they're going to pay by we're going to liberate Greenland from them.
And I agree with that 100%. But
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, I take my hat off to you, my brother, because you tolerate some idiots that call in, and they have nothing really valuable to say. It's pure destruction.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the
call.
Have a great day. All right, West Palm. I love West Palm. All right, 888-465-2631. In the next hour, after the top of the hour break, we're going to go through that story that the Democrats are saying that ICE, they're arresting U.S. citizens. I've got the story. You're going to hear from the person that the talking point comes from. You won't want to miss this. I'm going to get into that after the top of the hour break, all right? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hello, Brian. My name is Bernard. I'm from Lake Hopatcong, New Jersey.
Okay. Is that a real place in New Jersey? Oh, my goodness.
Is technically blue. We're a very red area up here.
Okay.
And I love your show, and I've been watching you for at least about 2 years now.
Thank you.
And I got to tell you, the climate in this country has become so toxic, and it's unwarranted. You know, the liberals in this country are not liberals anymore. They are full-blown communists.
Yes.
And don't try to, there's no way to sugarcoat it.
That's right.
They are completely with the communists.
And by the way, what they're fighting for in Minnesota is to keep their slave population here. Remember what they say? Who's going to clean your toilets? Who's going to mow your lawn? Who's going to clean your hotel rooms? Who's going to clean your house? They're trying to keep their modern-day slaves, the illegals, into the country, the Democrats.
Absolutely. You know, I was raised, my father was a Republican, and I was against him for most of my life till I got older and realized how right he was.
Yeah.
And my father always instilled in me that you are to take care of your own.
Yes.
And you don't rely on other people and outside influences to take care of your life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got a foot of snow up here in Lake Hopatcong.
Oh, my goodness. Move to Florida. There's no, well, there was snow in North Florida yesterday in the Panhandle. But,
but I tell you what, Brian, it gets worse. It's going to be 0 degrees on Thursday.
Oh, my goodness. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, I'm a Northerner, obviously, because of my accent. But we're used to this stuff.
Yeah.
And I prepare for it, and I get ready for it because I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
These stupid liberals in this country, they don't prepare for anything unless someone's given them a donation or whatever.
Yeah.
Because, look, all these protests that you see going on, they're all prepaid by the whole thing about Minnesota. You know, the old saying, Brian, is one man can't make a difference. That is a lie. Because Nick Shirley,
that's true.
23-year-old punk kid,
well,
I love him.
Yeah, he's
I've
awesome.
been watching him for 2 years now. He exposed more fraud than the entire government has in 20 years.
Yeah. And he's changed the world. He's changed the whole country. Think about it. Nick Shirley. Think about how many people he red-pilled.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He's amazing.
And not only that, but, you know, when you, I don't know if you saw that protest with Jake Lang, because I'm a big fan of his. I don't agree with everything he says, but I'm a big fan.
He's lucky to be alive, Jake Lang. They almost killed him. I mean, it was terrifying.
I was watching it live, brother.
Yeah, me too.
And I thought I didn't
hard
think
to watch.
he was going to make it out of there.
It's hard to watch. He may have permanent damage from that. That was, I was talking about that yesterday. That was a modern day lynching that they were doing. That was a lynch mob with Jake Lang.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, Democrats bringing back the lynch mobs. Yeah, I mean that's the Democrats. Yeah. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call and call again sometime. You're a good caller.
Well, excellent. God bless you, and God bless your show.
Well, thank you. Oh, man, I tell you, we're learning some stuff. All right, now, if you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you're listening, 888-465-2631. If you're just tuning in, you missed a whole bunch. It turns out all the way up until, and this is, by the way, Denmark admitted this and confessed to it last year, their prime minister. Denmark, for over 100 years, has been abusing the women and girls of Greenland, forced sterilizations, forced birth control. They've been sterilizing girls as young as 12 years old. By the way, none of this, they even, not only not with their consent, they didn't even know about it. They've been kidnapping children from Greenlanders and taking them back to Denmark for re-education. Terrible things coming out of the news today involving what Denmark has been doing to Greenland. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. I found Friendly Tire in Margate out of necessity. I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. I had a four-wheel drive Jeep Wrangler with the oversized tires. I got such a great deal on it. And boy, the first time I needed new tires, those oversized four-wheel drive tires, I knew why I got a good deal on it. Because everywhere I called, the tires were so much money. And I found Friendly Tire in Margate, and I've bought tires from no one else since I met him 15, 20 years ago. Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire has new tires available for as low as $75 a tire. That's out the door and on the road. Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire. Nope, mount the tire or even dispose of your old tires. And by the way, as low as $75 a tire, that's on common sizes on some of the most popular vehicles on the road. He has thousands of used tires in stock as low as $35 a tire out the door and on the road. Give Friendly Tire a call. Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Oh, man, I got to get some coffee here. Things are not looking good for you Democrats.
This is Mark Laporta, son of Tom Laporta and proud second-generation owner of Laporta Roofing. As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I've brought the same dedication and discipline to our family business. At Laporta Roofing, we've been serving our community for nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence. Our team specializes in all types of roofing systems, from shingles to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs. We're the go-to experts for single-family homes, HOA communities, and condo associations. What sets us apart is our unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction. I've personally implemented systems to ensure you receive the best in customer service and workmanship. Don't miss out on our limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at laportaroofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sandra. I'm calling from Delray Beach. The Barry Siegel Law Group did such wonderful work for me, and I was very particular. I'm a professional myself, and I went to about 3 or 4 attorneys prior. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They didn't want to add anything extra, but Barry tailored it to my needs. And it's not only the trust. There's so many other end-of-life documents, the living will, the will, and I tailored each one of them to my liking, and they were wonderful and always, always polite. never showed any aggravation or because I contacted them many times, always polite. And not only that, when you finish your documents and you leave this world, your beneficiaries could go there and they'll explain everything to them, which is a big deal because a lot of these beneficiaries or heirs, they're not cognizant of what to do. I just wanted to let you know that the Siegel Group is above and beyond any other attorney that I have ever contacted. Plus, they give you a big portfolio at the end with a leather-bound documents. It's beautiful.
Give the Siegel Law Group a call, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, siegellawgroup.com.
What if we've been asking the wrong questions about aliens all along? When people talk about non-human intelligence, they look to the skies, to UAPs, to massive craft and towering beings. But what if some of them have been here the entire time, much smaller and hiding in plain sight? In When the Fae Came, available online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon, author Martin Thomas explores a provocative idea that the beings we've called fairies, elves, dwarfs, and goblins may not be myth at all, but advanced non-human intelligences. Drawing from global sightings and early research, When the Fae Came connects underground and underwater colonies across places like Mexico, Canada, Malaysia, and Europe. Beings capable of invisibility, flight, and telepathic communication. This isn't fantasy, it's an investigation into how ancient stories may be misunderstood encounters with something real. If you're curious about where folklore ends and non-human intelligence begins, When the Fae Came asks questions most researchers avoid. Order your copy of When the Fae Came from author Martin Thomas online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon.
Okay, we'll be back in about a minute. Let me get my coffee. $15 seconds. Sorry, guys. I didn't warm my voice up there. Here we go. All right, hour number 2 has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay. So, and if you're calling in about the topic from the first hour, hang in there. When I go back to the phones, you're welcome to comment on the Greenland, Denmark revelations. Okay. There's a big liberal talking point that we're just going to blow right out of the water right now, okay? That ICE is just going around arresting U.S. citizens. Well, this talking point, you're going to hear where they got this talking point from. And NBC interviewed a person in question, and I'm going to share with you the interview, and then we're going to share with you the whole shocking story that NBC left out. But here's the headline, NBC News, U.S. citizen shares his experience of being taken into ICE custody. A U.S. citizen arrested by ICE, and ICE went in, and they pulled him out. So what happened? Well, let's hear from him, and we'll find out exactly what happened here. And I don't know why I'm not hearing it. Hold on a second here. I just lost the audio on it. Oh boy, let me see here. Why am I not hearing that? I should be hearing it. I'll get it worked out. You're not going to want to miss this. And I'll take a call or two while I'm working on it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Yeah, you're on the air.
Yes, I have two questions for you. Number one is I heard you guys talking about the Democrats and the party switching. If you can, question number one is, the 7 states that succeeded the Union, they were Democrat states, correct?
Yes, all the Confederate states were Democrats. Yes.
Okay, run through the names of those states and tell me which of those states are Republican states.
We're not talking about today. That's not the story.
Wait a minute. It's in context of today.
No, it's not in context of today. No, the talking point. Excuse me.
Answer the question.
I'm not a witness on a witness stand, and you're not a lawyer. Okay? Stop trying to be a talk show host, and I'll run the show, and we'll have a conversation. Okay? What the talking point that the left have, you guys like to say there was this big party switch. The Democrats became, all the good people that were Democrats became Republican, and all the evil people, the Republicans, became Democrats. The big party switch. That's what the story is, and it's a lie.
Okay, so they're conservatives and liberals. Let's look at them as that, not Democrats and Republicans. So the conservative wing of the party did switch over.
No, there was no switch. There was no party switch. There was no party switch.
Let me ask you a question. Was Ronald Reagan ever a Democrat?
He was not a Dixiecrat. Yes, as was Donald Trump.
Was Ronald Reagan ever a Democrat?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, good. Was Donald Trump ever a Democrat?
Sure.
Okay, so when you keep saying that the party
this is great. No, it didn't switch over. It didn't switch over. Those are individuals. Okay.
Okay.
The talking point is that during the civil rights movement, there was this big party switch where all the good people in Congress that were Democrats became Republicans, and all the evil people, they were Republicans, became Democrats. The big party switch never happened.
Evil. Let's say conservative and liberal. We got to stop tagging each other.
No, I'm not going to do what you. I know we're talking about Republicans and Democrats. I know it's an inconvenient truth, to use an Al Gore term, but it's true. The big party switch never happened. It's a lie.
Okay, so another question, because you really didn't answer the first one.
I did answer it. You just didn't like the answer.
I don't think you answered the question, but anyway.
I did. Well, I did.
When the Confederate monuments and the Confederate, all the Confederate history was being removed or replaced or removed, which party fought the hardest to keep it in place?
The Republicans, and there was a reason why,
Okay, so
I'll explain to you why. Do you know what? You want to know why?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're talking about these monuments that were taken down, like of Klansmen and such, and things like this, and Confederates. I'm answering your question. The monuments you're talking about, what was going on was this. The Democrats were in a panic. Black people were getting red-pilled by Trump, so they started taking all these monuments down. The reason they were trying to take these monuments down is to wipe out the racist history of the Democrats. Because all those monuments of those races they were taking down were Democrats. I know, it's comical. You don't learn this stuff in school. That's why you got to listen to this show. All right, I got the sound back on this. So if you're on hold, hang in there. I want to share this. This is the so-called U.S. citizen who's been arrested by ICE, right? And NBC interviewed him. U.S. citizen shares his experience of being taken into ICE custody. And now this is where they get the talking point. So they show ICE in St. Paul busting in to his house. And they pull him out with a blanket over him.
About 1:30.
Okay, now this is the U.S. citizen in question. They interview him.
The daughter-in-law came to the room and said, "Dad, there's ice out there." I said, "What?" "Yeah, there's ice out there." So I said, "Okay, just don't open the door." And then suddenly they just banged that door. And then my grandson was asleep out there on the couch, and then
Yeah, this guy with the heavy accent, this is the U.S. citizen that they're saying. They're arresting, right? They're arresting U.S. citizens.
he heard the banging, and then he woke up. He started crying, and then he went to the room with me and my daughter-in-law. So I locked my bedroom, and then suddenly they break in. They just came to the room and knocking the door. So I just said, okay, just open the door, see what they want. And then suddenly there's a guns pointing at us. I thought, whoa. And then they go, you come out here. I go, okay. And then I came out there with my hand up, and then they said put my hand on my back, so I did, and then suddenly they just handcuffed me.
Yeah.
They didn't ask for my ID or anything until after they handcuffed me, and then they asked me, do I have my ID? I go, yeah, it's in the room. And then my daughter-in-law, she tried to get my ID, but they didn't want to see it no more. Yeah, they just took me out there with no clothes on, and then just covered with my grandson's blanket. So yeah, they just took me out there. Yesterday was, I don't feel like it's freedom.
Okay. So after the break, I know he's hard to understand. That's the U.S. citizen that was just taken out of his house by ICE. After the break, I'm going to share the rest of the story with you. You won't want to miss this. But I want to take a moment to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Have you called him yet? Listen, a year ago today, because it was a year ago today the president was inaugurated, it was a year ago today that I went and met with Dr. Zuckerman over a Coastal Weight Loss Secret for the first time. Within 3 weeks, I'd lost 25 pounds. Total, I lost over 35 pounds. It's been a year. I've kept the weight off. I haven't gained back a single ounce. Those of you who were with us at our inauguration party at Wings Plus, look at the pictures you took with me, and then go and look at me on YouTube. Look at my face then and look at my face now, right? I've got my jawline. I've got a neck. I no longer have partially obstructed view when I look down at the ground, and I've kept all the weight off. Eating foods I would normally eat without going hungry, with no shots, no injections, no pills, and by the way, no exercise. And I lost about a pound a day, and I've kept it off. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. They can help you like they helped me, no matter where you are located. By the way, it's a no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. Okay, so if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to get to the rest of this story when we get back. This guy, this is beautiful. Could you understand this U.S. citizen here? By the way, he is a U.S. citizen, at least so he says, okay? So that's not the rest of the story. All right. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe, guys. Let me see here what time. Okay. Oh. Callers on hold. Stand by. I got to finish with this before we go back to the calls. But you're welcome to call in at 888-465-2631. You know, this big party switch is something that the Democrats have been hallucinating for as long as I can remember. Okay, they've been hallucinating over this big party switch that never happened. It never happened. But don't, Candace Owens used to be a lot of people used to be Democrats, and they grow up. But what the story is there was this big party. You know, the Democrats and Republicans can't agree that it's daytime or the sky's blue or the earth's round, but they all got together and decided to switch party affiliations, right? Give me a break. Where's the newspaper article on that historic day in history? But you can hear what's going on with these liberally impaired Democrats that I'm talking to. The reality is just it's too much for their brains to handle. Okay, we got a little bit of time left. Let me see. If you're on hold, hang in there. All right. Oh, man. Okay. Okay. Oh, man. Yep, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in let's see, in just over a minute. Just over a minute, and I'll finish up with this U.S. citizen who you can hardly understand because his accent's so heavy. 1 minute. We'll be back in 1 minute. All right, 20 seconds. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Okay, so the Democrats have this talking point that ICE in Minnesota are arresting U.S. citizens. They found this guy who they say is a U.S. citizen. NBC interviewed him. I'll play a little bit of it. Again, I played it before the top, but then I'll tell you the full story.
Came to the room and said, Dad, there's an ice out there. I said, what? Yeah, there's ice out there. So I said, okay, just don't open the door. And then suddenly they just banged that door. And then my grandson was asleep out there on the couch, and then he heard the banging, and then he woke up, he started crying, and then he went to the room with me and my daughter-in-law. So I locked my bedroom, and then suddenly they break in. They just came to the room and knocked on the door. So I just said, okay, just open the door, see what they want. And then suddenly there's a guns pointing at us. I thought, whoa. And I said,
okay, so goes the liberal talking point is this U.S. citizen was pulled out. He's just a grandpa. He's just a grandpa. They carried him out in his underwear. They busted in his door for no reason other than that he's not white. Got an accent. Well, here's the whole shocking story about this grandpa. This is ABC News reporting. So it's a liberal news outlet, ABC News. U.S. citizen, that's the guy who you could hardly understand. U.S. citizen says ICE removed him from his Minnesota home in his underwear after warrantless search. Well, if you read the story, and all these stories, by the way, are on my X at Brian Craig Show. You have to really read. I mean, it's like a 3,000-word story. You have to go way, way down into the story. And then listen to this. Let me pull it up. Hold on. It's so far down in the story. Listen to this. Okay. Buried at the end of this massive ABC News story. This is called Burying the Lead, but the lead doesn't fit their agenda. His name is, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Thao. Is that Thao? The U.S. Department of, this is the grandfather, Thao, right? The U.S. Department of Homeland Security described the ICE operation at Thao's home as a targeted operation seeking 2 convicted sex offenders. The U.S. citizen that you just heard from, the U.S. citizen lives with 2 convicted sex offenders in that home. So grandpa, he's a grandpa. He's got his grandkids there, but he's also living with 2 convicted sex offenders in the same house. Who lives with sex offenders? And who lives with sex offenders with their young grandchildren in the house? Holy smokes. Oh, Doc from Texas left this part out when he called me yesterday with this story. The U.S. Department of Homeland, and by the way, Grandpa Tao here, he left it out when he talked to NBC News. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security described the ICE operation at Tao's home as a targeted operation seeking 2 convicted sex offenders. The U.S. citizen lives with these 2 convicted sex offenders at the site of the operation, Department of Homeland Security said. The individual refused to be fingerprinted or facially ID'd. He matched the description of one of the targets, one of the sex offenders. Tao's family said they dispute this. Well, I don't expect them all to admit it, or maybe they didn't know that Grandpa had 2 sex offenders in the house with the little kids. His son and daughter-in-law and grandson live at the home. Oh, my goodness. Why is oh, yeah, they left that out of the story. Grandpa should be thanking them for ripping those sex offenders out of the home with his grandchildren. Oh, my goodness. And that's the rest of the story. Oh, man. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Stacy. I'm calling from New York City. I'm a first-time listener today.
Welcome.
I was enjoying your show.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a question that I field out to people that I know, and nobody's been able to give me an answer.
Okay.
So I thought I would ask you.
All right.
The topic is affordable housing.
Yes.
Which our mayor is working on. Okay. I live in a building where half of our units are market rate, market value. We pay market rate for our unit, and we pay fees on that unit. Half of the units on the other end are rent control. Okay. And that's about 8 units in our building. And my question is what constitutes rent control? Like, how does somebody get into a rent control unit? Because the 8 units that I know of in my building have tenants where none of the people are poor, none of them are needy, some of them are actually wealthy and own multiple properties in Brooklyn and all over in downtown Manhattan,
Yes.
other than the unit that they have here. They own companies. One gentleman owns his own company, a safety company. One woman that I know, she's always bragging about her retirement plans. She's got about 4 retirement plans here and there. And I just don't understand when our new mayor comes in and says, you know, we're really going to work on affordable housing
Yes.
in this administration. If we have affordable housing already that is not being used by people that need affordable housing, how does this all work?
Okay.
Like, I don't
So
understand.
your question is, how do you get into a rent-controlled unit in New York City? Is that your question?
Yes.
How's it work? Okay, I got
Well,
an
the
answer for you. I got an answer for you. Okay. Now I live in beautiful sunny South Florida, so I don't know how the People's Republic of New York City operates with their Soviet Union style seizure of private property, but I know who knows the answer to this. He's a millionaire. His wife is a millionaire, and he's the mayor of New York City. Mom Donnie and his wife were living in a rent-controlled apartment right up until they. Are they still there? Have they moved in the Gracie Mansion yet? They might still be in there. So Mom Donnie knows how to get in because he and his wife are both multimillionaires, and they were living in a rent-controlled subsidized unit. So next time you see the mayor on the subway, which he claims to like to take to work while he eats his Chipotle on the seats of the train, he knows how to do it. He's got the answers. All right? Okay. Did that help you?
Yes, I mean,
Ask Mom
it's nice
Donnie.
to talk to you about it, but
Yes.
that's right. Okay, well, it's so nice to find you and find your show, and I look forward to listening more. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you found us. You know, I love our New York City listeners because New York City is the #1 radio market in America, right? And when I first started out in radio, everybody dreamed of working in New York. And we have a lot of listeners in New York City. And when I hear from a New York City listener that supposedly in the #1 market for radio, where all the top tier talent are, and they're listening to me instead of these New York City top tier talent people, it makes me feel good. I do appreciate that. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're just blowing liberal talking points out of the water all morning long. If you're on hold, I'm going to go to the phones after the break. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-1065. 2631. 888-465-2631. If you've not already made a reservation, join us on our 10th annual MAGA cruise. We're going to Puerto Plata in the Virgin Islands. We're going to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and we're going to the British Virgin Islands. We leave on March 22nd, and you are all invited. This is our 10th annual MAGA cruise. I'm going to give you Ian's number at Cruise and Travel Depot. We've got incredible deals on cabins, and when you join us, everything's included. Tips, drink packages, everything's included. Give Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot a call. He'll give you all the details. 561-244-5779. We're sailing on the Celebrity Beyond. Okay, 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779. If you get Ian's voicemail, leave a message with your name and number. He will call you back. We'll be back with your calls and more right after this. All right, we're clear. So this U.S. citizen, Grandpa here, he's living with 2 registered and convicted sex offenders that have warrants that they were after. And he's complaining.
I want to say that.
And he seems, NBC, why do I know about this and NBC left it out of their story? Do you think NBC knew? Of course they knew.
Dad, there's an ice out there. I like, what? Yeah, there's ice out there. So I said, okay, just open the door. And then suddenly they just banged that door. And then my grandson was asleep out there on the couch, and then he heard the banging, and then he woke up, he started crying, and then he went to the room with me and my daughter-in-law. So I locked my bedroom, and then suddenly they break in. They just came to the room and knocking the door. So I just said, okay, just open the door, see what they want. And then suddenly there's a guns pointing at us. I like, whoa. And then they go, you come out here. I go, okay. And then I came out there with my hand up, and then they said, put my hand on my back. So I did, and then suddenly they just handcuffed me. They didn't ask for my ID or anything until after they handcuffed me, and then they asked me, do I have my ID? I go, yeah, it's in the room. And then my daughter-in-law, she tried to get my ID, but they didn't want to see it no more. Yeah, they just took me out there with no clothes on, and then just covered with my grandson's blankets.
Oh boy, yeah. And well, I hope they got the sex offenders. They're not really reporting too much of the story there. It doesn't really fit their narrative. But wouldn't you be happy that they got the sex offenders out of your house if you were him? I know I would be, but that's just me. But I think you guys would agree, right? You would want the sex offenders out there too. All right. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll get to that when we get back. All right. We'll be back shortly. I'll go back to the phones. I've got more stories too. And in the 8 o'clock hour, I'm going to have to go through that Greenland story again because that's so huge. Everybody needs to hear that. If you'd like to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. Okay? It's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are calling from. All right, stand by. 10 seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
You know, when you had the guy from Canada and the other liberal from California, these guys are all being poisoned by CNN and the rest of the fake news, and it's a damn shame that there's nothing they can do to stop these people from lying all day long and making stories up. Too bad they can't have their likenesses revoked because these guys need to be.
Well, I don't. The guy from Canada. We don't want Canadians liking. When I got a liberal guy from Canada who's outraged at President Trump, that's a good thing. That's like an endorsement, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, man. But it's just a shame that There's people have absolute wrong information, and they just don't get it because they're being lied to all day long, and you lie to somebody long enough, and they believe it. So that's what's going on. This guy that they arrested, this American citizen, well, that should be a lesson to everybody. When you have the government coming in with warrants to arrest somebody, if you don't give them your ID, they're going to take you in, no matter if you're a citizen or not. You know,
what happened to the two, and what about the two convicted sex offenders that he had living in his home with his son, daughter-in-law, and grandchildren? That's Grandpa there with sex offenders at home. Convicted sex offenders, by the way.
Yeah, that's another one, man. Unbelievable what goes on in this country. And the last thing I'd like to say is, you know, I think enough is enough. When ICE is coming down the streets, they should have a truck in front of them with big speakers saying, you can stay on the side, but if you block our way, we're going to arrest you immediately and have some paddy wagons or some buses that and pull over. And as soon as somebody gets into it, throw something at them, go take them, throw them in the bus, and lock them up.
Maybe ICE should go undercover as Antifa, right?
Yeah.
Go undercover, then they'll round them up. You know, NBC left out the story. You know, this talking point that ICE is arresting U.S. citizens. By the way, the guy was not arrested; he was detained until they he was detained until they could find out who he was in this house with two convicted sex offenders that they had warrants for. Being detained is not the same as being arrested, but there's no worry. You know, these are convicted sex offenders that are also illegals that they were after because this was an ICE bust in the house, and he doesn't even seem to be upset that there were sex offenders in the house with his grandchildren. He didn't bother to tell NBC News during the interview.
He's one of those guys over there believes that everybody should be allowed to stay here, whether you're illegal or not illegal. You know, I don't get it. But they want to protect these people for some reason. I don't know why, but this is what they're trying to pull. And it's enough is enough. I said, man, I'm really sick of hearing about what they're doing to ICE. These poor guys are going out and having ice bottles thrown at them, and firecrackers thrown at them. Unbelievable, man. This got to stop. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they got to come up with something to teach them a lesson.
Absolutely. All right, Conservative Doug, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Joellen from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen, what's on your mind?
I was coming down the street yesterday, and I saw one of the houses, the garage door, they had painted on it. It says, if Trump invades Greenland, we all die. And it says, share, share. So are you ready to die because he is a baby?
That was all on their garage door? Who would deface their home?
What's that?
Don't you have an HOA?
Oh no, we're not in an HOA. But I'm talking this there's I think there are two gay guys that live there, and they fixed up their home. And so I was shocked to see that. So I said to myself, I'm not, after your thing about the Greenland, I said, I'm not sure if I should go by the New York Post and highlight that and either leave it on their doorstep or knock on the door.
Oh, you're talking about my what I was sharing about Greenland earlier with hold on, lost you there. What I was talking about with Greenland earlier, yeah. Well,
is that an article today's paper?
It was in the New York Post yesterday. It's on my X, and I'm going to recap that story coming up because it's a very important story, and very few people are going to cover it. But if you're just joining us, I've got a huge story of how up until the time Bill Clinton was president, Denmark spent over a century sterilizing women and girls as young as 12 years old, stealing their children without their consent or even knowledge. And it's population control. That's why the population of Greenland's only 50,000. The birth rate dropped by 50% through these Nazi-like policies. And the prime minister of Greenland admitted it last year. He said it's all true.
So I might just go up and knock on their door and say, "Oh my gosh, did you make a police report about your this writing on there?"
Oh yeah,
and see what they say. But
oh yeah, exactly.
I thought about that. So one of the two. But anyways,
people are not going to really care any more than they care about the rapists and murderers on the streets of Minneapolis and New York. I mean, these people want to just support these people. It's so crazy.
It's
so
Trump derangement.
Sure
It's Trump derangement syndrome. Trump derangement syndrome.
It is so. Yes, I have a guy that I work with, and he is just a total nutcase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he says I have Trump derangement syndrome because I talk about Trump, but I don't talk politics anymore. I try not to because he's just out of control.
He's out of control.
You know?
All right, Joellen, I appreciate the call.
Anyway.
All right, take care. Take care. All right, let's see here. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed.
Hello?
Oh, I hung up just as he said hello. You can call back, whoever you are. I hit the button already as he said hello. There's no going back once I do that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. It's Connie from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Connie.
This is this story from the guy that got
the U.S.
taken, who was an American citizen.
Oh, yes.
It's crazy because that is the main argument from my liberal friends.
Well, that they're
Americans off the street.
They're taking Americans off the street.
And if I were to show them that story, they would say, "See, there it is."
But what about the
And
sex
there's no
offenders
more
in his house?
context.
What about the convicted sex offenders in the house with his grandchild?
Oh yeah, no. Well, they'll never hear that part.
Yeah, even if you
They'll
tell
never
them.
get that story. Who's going to tell them that? Who's going to tell them that story?
Well, not NBC News. They left that out. I had to find that out from ABC News. And in the
I was
ABC
very
News,
curious, too, 'cause I
in
saw
the ABC News story, it's a long story. Okay, to find that part of the story, the truth about which by the way is the lead. That's why they were there. Let me count the paragraphs till you get to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not kidding. 11. The 11th paragraph of the story finally tells you about the convicted sex offenders in the house at ABC News. NBC News left it out entirely. But paragraph 11 in the ABC story. You know, you guys, I tell you guys, I wake up at 1:30 in the morning to do show prep because I want to get the latest news that's coming out. It takes a while. You got to read deep into these articles to get the truth.
And then you had that caller earlier that said to you, "Where did you get that information?" And you said, "It's right. You got to look it up." And they tell you that you're wrong.
Yes, fake news.
The news you're getting is fake, but the news they're getting is real.
That's gaslighting.
And basically, it's the same news spun out.
Yeah.
You can't talk to. You're better off like around here. Some of these people you can't talk to them.
Where are you calling me from? Where are you calling me from?
I'm in Pompano. But I have kids, and my kids believe the narrative that they're taking people off the street.
Well, they are elite.
Citizens.
Oh no, not American. But if you're a U.S. citizen and you have children in your house and you have 2 convicted sex offenders living there, maybe they should take you away, right? Well, who would have convicted sex offenders in their house with their grandchildren?
But I swear, Brian, I think if you were to tell them that that's the rest of the story, they'd say, "No, that's not true. That's not true."
Even if you show it to them in liberal, even if you show it to them in liberal ABC News.
Right. You know what my sister said, who's also a liberal, but she moved away from Florida because Florida's so,
great
Republican.
Awesome.
Red, yeah. She says to me that NBC, if I were to say look at NBC or read it up on ABC, oh well, that's a Republican publication.
ABC News, yeah, sure, yeah. ABC News would not let their reporters wear American flags on September 12th, okay? Because they didn't want to show bias towards America, on September 12th, right? They wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, come on, give me a break.
Yeah. Well, good job, Brian. I enjoy your show every day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, I'm Robert from Boston.
Hey, Robert in Boston. What's on your mind?
I got 2 points I want to make. When Trump bragged about peeping on little girls You never said a word about it.
Slow
When
down,
he
slow
bragged
down,
about
slow down,
grabbing
slow down.
women
We're
by
gonna, hold
the
on, hold on,
pussy,
hold on,
you never
hold
said
on.
a word about it.
Wait, hold on a second.
when
Slow
he,
down,
when he-
Boston. Slow down. I
You
want to
never
talk
say a
about.
word about any of that.
I want to talk
And-
about
and
each.
another thing,
No. Hold on. I want to talk about each of these moments in detail. What was the first
but
thing?
I never hear one of you fucking
Oh,
clowns
there we
say
go.
a-
All right. First one of the day, Mike. First one of the day. Oh, my goodness. First one of the day. All right. If you're on hold, stand by as we wait for the delay to re-engage. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. These people. I've just... I wish I could let them go. I mean, but it's we can't let them use that kind of language. Oh man. Oh, Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing, who will never sell you a roof you do not need. I say that. What does that mean? Tom Laporta, he's a good MAGA guy. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. He works with every type of structure, a single-family home, office building, municipal, churches, every type of building, every type of roofing material. He can handle the job of any size, whether it's one home, one office building, one apartment building, condo building, or an HOA that has over 450 units. But when I say he won't sell you a roof you do not need, what that means is if you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. That's the kind of guy he is. Give Tom Laporta a call. This number rings directly to his cell phone. You could call or text 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, laportaroofing.com. We'll be right back. All right, we're clear. Oh, my goodness. All right.
Your call has been forwarded to... Your call has been forwarded.
Hello?
Hey, it's Brian.
Hey, man.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Hold on. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
John from Boston?
Hey, John, hold on. All right. Ian, you there?
Yep. Sure
Okay.
am.
All right. Hold on. Okay, we got a little more than 2 minutes, but I wanted to talk about what we talked about the other day. You remember?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on hold. It's gonna be about 2 minutes. Okay, if we don't do it now, I won't be able to do it. But I don't have a lot of time, so we got to be tight. All right. Hold on. Okay. Yep. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hold on. All right, Ian, you there?
Yep, sure.
Okay, we got 90 seconds. So let's just talk to the people that are listening on YouTube. This is Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. We just have over a minute. So, but for a lot of people that watch on YouTube are coming, right, or listen to my podcast from all over the country.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and a lot of people you see in the chat room regularly are on the cruise. But you help people with their round trip airfare, and if they stay in Florida, hotel room before and after, and even little vacations before or after the cruise here in Florida, right?
Oh yeah, pre and post, no problem.
Oh, we are back. Oh, I lost track of time, Ian. We're back. I'm Brian, and on the line we have Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. I lost myself in the conversation. You know, our 10th annual MAGA cruise is just a couple of short months away. We leave on the Celebrity Beyond on March 22nd. We're going to Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic, the British Virgin Islands, and San Juan, Puerto Rico on the incredible, luxurious Celebrity Beyond. And Ian, I wanted to talk to you about the food. Celebrity Cruise Line is a luxury yacht-like experience at great prices, but can you tell people about the quality of the food, which is just out of this world incredible?
Oh yeah, well, the quality of food on Celebrity Cruises stands out because they allocate a lot more of a food budget to each individual. And on the Beyond, which is an Edge class ship, there's 4 main dining rooms, each with a different theme. And every night you can order either from the restaurant that we're assigned to or from the other 3. And if you want, you could eat beef Wellington every night. Might get a little boring because there's a lot to try, but you can try 3 entrees if you want to.
I do that. I order at least 2 different entrees from different restaurants. You can order from any of the restaurants on the ship, no matter what restaurant you're in. So, and one thing we did at my table last year, we did this every night. We ordered every dessert on the menu from every restaurant every night, and they'll bring it to you. They don't care. And it's all included, by the way. That's not extra.
Yeah, there was no square inch available on your table. It was all desserts.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, I didn't gain any weight back with coastal weight because on the cruise I walk around a lot. I don't take elevators too much. I walk, so we're good. But the food is spectacular, and it's gourmet food each and every night.
Yeah, and when for our group, they put down the menus from all of the 4 restaurants.
Yes.
So if you want to order something from the Italian restaurant, no problem. The Mediterranean restaurant, no problem. Personally, when I'm on board, I go for the beef Wellington.
That's my favorite.
That's not something you see. Yeah, it's not something you really see outside of cruising unless you go to like a 5-star restaurant. $200 a person.
And sometimes we'll have dinner. I'll order 2 entrees, and then we have the early dinner so that we have more free time in the evening to do things together as a group. But sometimes me and some of the people from the group will go back to the restaurant at the end of the night for the last seat and we'll have another dinner. And it's all included.
Sure.
And I on cruise ships, I've been cruising since I was 18, and historically, I usually stay away from the buffet because you have fun. On the Celebrity Beyond, the buffet is upscale dining too, Ian.
Yeah, you were a little shocked when I insisted we have lunch at the last ship tour at the buffet. And
I like, why are you trying to go cheap on us, Ian?
Side-eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's awesome.
It certainly is. So you foodies, join us. If you've not made your reservation, call Ian. By the way, Ian will handle all, if you're coming from out of town, he'll handle your airfare, your hotel stay before and after. And even if you plan a little mini Florida vacation on either side of the cruise, Ian will help you with that as well. If you get his voicemail, leave your name and number. He will call you back. 561-244-5779. Those of you that have already made reservations, call Ian and get your shore excursions locked in before we open them up to everybody, okay? 561, they're going to fill up. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. All right, Ian, we'll talk soon.
You got it. Take care.
All right, take care. I can't wait. I love those cruises, man. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Frenchie from Stewart, Florida.
Hey, Frenchie, turn down the volume of whatever device you're listening to me on.
Yeah, it's from my laptop.
MAGA, Martin County. How you doing?
How's that?
All right.
Good. Hey, did I miss some news yesterday? The first time I heard this yesterday, was that the woman who got herself shot up in Minnesota had Missouri license plates on her car.
Correct.
Well, how come that's the first time I only heard it was yesterday?
I don't know. I mean, I've talked about it a little bit, but that was when she tried to murder a federal agent, the license plates just didn't, I guess people are more focused on the part that she tried to murder a federal agent than that. But yeah, because the media don't want you to know that because they have a narrative. She just dropped her kid off from school, and she was just going out on her day after she dropped her kid off at school. Where? In Missouri?
Yeah, well, as soon as I heard that, I said, wait a minute, that don't add up. So why, I don't know, why aren't they investigating? Why is she from Missouri and she's in Minnesota? Where's the click on that?
Well, they are investigating her wife. She's under federal investigation.
All right. So now that we're all on the investigating, I just want to say the thing that happened in Saturday with the church was despicable. The only thing I can think of is that they're just waiting, that moment, wait a minute, wait. They're waiting to just put the in one shot. That's all I can think of.
You're talking about the Don Lemon storming of that church. And, I want to remind people, I know yesterday was a holiday, but I was here live and I talked about it. But, Minneapolis, just a couple months ago, they had a church shooting where those children were murdered while they were praying in church, if you remember.
I remember that.
So, when you have a mob of anarchists busting into a church like they were doing, it had to be terrifying for everyone inside, probably assuming it was a mass shooter incident, is what I would have jumped on top of my child. And I saw some parents grabbing their children.
Yeah, all they needed was one nut person in that busted in there to cause some massive chaos.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
no.
anyway,
They're saying, the justice, Harmit Dillon, one of the deputy attorney general, that was a major federal crime, and they're investigating Don Lemon himself, and they're saying that he may be actually charged with what's known as the Klan law, the Klan Act, the KKK Act, which is domestic terrorism, is what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, but I still say they had a list on TV of like how many investigations they got going. Nobody's been arrested yet. Nobody's been put in jail.
Let me tell you,
something they're waiting for.
I've noticed
they're waiting for the big one.
If you're waiting on Pam Bondi, you'll be waiting till doomsday. But what I see,
I'm getting disappointed in her.
What I see going on with Pam Bondi. If you look at everything, yesterday Harmit Dillon did all the interviews. She was on with Benny Johnson. She was on with Glenn Beck. She was on Fox. It seems to me, I could be wrong, but it seems to me that the president has sidelined Pam Bondi and Kash Patel too. They're still on there, but she's like a figurehead, and they're using the using the lower people to handle everything. She's been totally sidelined, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm disappointed in Pam Bondi, but it's just that you see them all these investigations. Well.
We want results.
They got to know who's causing all this chaos.
We want results. We want arrest of Brennan, of Comey, of Peter Strzok, Lisa Page.
So many of them people that broke into that church, they're worse than J6s. They went into a church.
Yeah.
On
Sunday.
When they went to the White House, the White House belongs to the people. At least we went into the people's house, not the church. So
yeah.
All right.
Appreciate the call.
Cold down here, ain't it? How do you like this cold?
It sucks. This is not why I live in Florida.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I'm originally from New Hampshire, and I hate this cold.
I'm originally from Ohio, right? And last night I went outside. I put a jacket on. My wife says, "You're from Ohio. What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, that's why I live in Florida, right? I don't want that cold. That's we leave the north."
Yeah, I don't like it when it goes below 70 degrees. All right, have a good day.
I agree with you, but it's going to be in the 80s this week. So hey, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Yeah, Richie the bus driver.
I want to address both of your topics this morning, one by one. I've been listening to you from the very beginning when you had peach fuzz on your face, and I listened to Steve Kane when he was a young guy. So I've been listening. I'm listening a long time. The only time they ever bring up, the only time that's the Dixiecrats are ever brought up are black callers. If you notice, you never hear a white Democrat calling
It's
you
rare.
up and
It's
questioning
rare.
it.
Yes, it's rare.
Okay, so here's the answer to it all, folks, and you believe me when I tell you, because I've seen it with my own eyes. I used to drive the bus through black communities. Okay, we also had one of our bus drivers who actually was a member of the NAACP. He was a leader in Broward County, and I used to drive the bus through all the black communities. They were all Democratic strongholds. The black community stuck together. Now, what was the common denominator between a black in New York City and a black in Dania, Florida?
You mean an African American in New York City and an African American in Florida? I don't know, Richie.
What was the common denominator of what linked the Democratic Party? Their ministers. There's supposed to be a separation of church and state. The church has preached this garbage to the black community for years. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, and any black will answer this question. You go through the poorest black neighborhoods in South Florida, and I saw a lot of them, and the nicest homes that should have been in Boca Raton were on a street corner with a whole block. And I used to say, who owns this house? The minister, the pastor. And they're all Democrats. And they're all involved with the Democratic Party. Who do you think funds that house? I mean, not for nothing. And the NAACP, if you take a look at it, you'll find a lot of black preachers. Reverend Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton. They're all involved. They've been brainwashed through their church for all these years, and thank God Trump has red-pilled a lot of them, because the church has been the big stain on the black community, because they don't care. They don't really care about their community. They really don't.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of truth. The black ministers, most of them they don't live in the black neighborhoods. Remember, there was the one guy who lived in Weston that ran the big church in Fort Lauderdale. When he was living in Weston, where the Miami Heat players live. It was amazing. All right, Richie, listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. His language a little dated there, from another era. On Friday's show, at the very end, I got a call from a nice listener. Her and her husband went over to Life Imaging FLA for both the heart scan and the cancer screening, and she found, you're going to hear her it'll probably be starting this week if it is not already started. You're going to hear her on a recorded commercial talking about her experience. She found out she had no symptoms. She found out she had some heart issues, and her husband too, but her more than even the husband. They both went in together as a couple and had the scans done, and they both had heart issues, especially the wife, with no symptoms. And she's able to go to her doctor and get it taken care of before she had that first symptom of heart trouble, which is instant death with a heart attack. It is absolutely amazing. Preventative health, that's what Life Imaging FLA is all about. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan and you'll be connected in seconds. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. Call us on hold. Hang in there. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after our top of the hour break. On the line, we have Lewis. He had some issues with some taxes in past years, and he called Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax, and Jamie took good care of him. Lewis, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. So tell me how Jamie from Swift Tax helped you on your taxes.
I was having trouble with another company. I called Jamie, and the next day I brought my wife in there with all the paperwork, and he straightened all my back taxes out, and I'm actually getting money back now.
Wow, this is pretty amazing. So this other company you went to told you owed the government money, and Jamie over at Swift Tax took a look and found out that not only did you not owe money, you're getting money back from the government?
Yes, I got nice big checks coming soon.
Do what Lewis did. Call Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587.
Want to play your favorite games on the go? Or trying to bribe your kid to leave the house? With plenty of gaming power and portability, the Steam Deck Gaming Bundle from OGDiscounted.com is the perfect solution for you. OG Discounted, gaming made cheaper. Visit OGDiscounted.com to get yours now.
Okay, we'll be back in about 90 seconds, so hang in there, guys. All right, stand by. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, my name's John from Boston. Just like Richie, I'm a long-time listener, but I call periodically. I had so many things to say, but that guy from Boston that called, that Richard, that idiot.
Oh, the guy with...
you notice that he gives you two questions, and before you can even get close to answering the first one, he's on the second one, then he comes into a potty mouth. So out there, Richard, you're too stupid to have a dialogue right now. You're just a hit and run, the idiot that wants to slow the show down.
And by the way, I'll say this, okay? When some liberal calls in and they have these slanderous comments, I am very open to discuss them with them one at a time, which I would have done. But you know, when he uses his lifeline of with the language, what am I going to do?
Yeah, you knew that was coming. But then another thing too, when you try to answer, if you're successful enough to answer the question, if they give you the opportunity, all of a sudden they totally bypass it. I got another question for you. You can have that idiot Richard from Boston on for 5 hours, and you could answer every question, and he would go with the next question rather than try and absorb the answer that you gave him or any one of the previous questions that he gave you. But I mainly called because one of your favorite sponsors, and he's one of my favorite sponsors, has a birthday today, and that's Friendly Mike of Friendly Tire. Today's his birthday, and just like you, I mean, last year I think he took his birthday off, and that's the only day he took off. He's always working, and just like you say, on the road, off the tires, on the road. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to botch up.
Out the door and on the road. Out the door and on the road.
There you go.
Yes.
That's it. And people, you want to celebrate, Friendly Mike, go over there and say hello, happy birthday, and you will get the presents. Believe me, I bought 4 tires for my mother's Tesla. The money that I saved, not just on my Honda or whatever, but on her, is a game changer. Nobody will give you that kind of deal. Nobody will give you that kind of service, and nobody's that kind of a man. So, Brian, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Happy birthday, Friendly Mike. Take care of yourself, Brian.
All right. Take care. I did know that. I was going to text Mike happy birthday, but now he'll think I did it because the guy there just called in. Yes, happy birthday to Friendly Mike. At Friendly Tire. Oh, man. Okay, now before I get back, there's another story. Remember how they were, this is one, I don't like to do these. I told you so, I was right, and then go over the story. But I do it on occasion because it has to be done, Someone's got to tell me I was right on occasion. No, this is an important story. The demolition of the East Room several weeks ago. You notice how that story disappeared from the news? And I told you that I had a theory as to why President Trump demolished the East Wing of the White House and they're building a new ballroom, okay? And I've just been proven right. And there's a story today. It's in the Daily Mail. And I found out, when the East Wing demolition was happening, I was very interested in that. And I started doing a lot of research and everything else. And I learned something, that the nuclear bunker underneath the White House is not under the residence. It's under the East Wing. Did you know that? I did not know. I learned that when this became a controversy a few weeks back, and I started doing some research. And, President Truman famously remodeled the entire White House, gutted it, and they rebuilt the whole thing. And I've come to realize that President Truman, that whole story about the piano leg going through the floor and all that was all a cover. That the remodeling of the White House, when it was totally gutted by President Truman, was to build the underground nuclear bunker. And the bunker is located under the East Wing. And Truman was president, man, in 48. So it's out of date. And the entire East Wing demolition, it's a cover to build a new updated bunker where the government can actually function. The old bunker is small and it's not deep enough or protected from modern weapons. And that's what's going on. It's a cover. And if you remember when it first became a story, the fake news media had a 24-hour camera on the construction site of the East Wing after the demolition. And then it disappeared from the news. And I believe what happened is that the White House went to the big media executives and told them about the bunker, and they don't want the camera there so people don't see what's going on. Well, the Daily Mail, I told you that right out the gate, that it was a cover to build the bunker. The Daily Mail, White House renovation to include secure underground facility underneath Trump's new East Wing. That's why it's all been gutted. And the reason they didn't knock it all down in the beginning is they didn't think they'd have to. But they realized to do it, they had to. And it's going to be deeper and it's going to be bigger. The current bunker is very tiny. It's not deep enough. And it doesn't have room and it doesn't have the technology to protect from modern weapons or to really run the country. And that's what this is all about, that. And this fits into Greenland, by the way, because we now know Greenland is about, the Golden Dome. So, boom, Trump, totally clear. This is not some ego thing or ego trip that he's on. This is all about protecting us from, whether it's Greenland or this new bunker underneath the White House, it's all about protecting us from Russia and protecting us from China. Okay, so there you go. Trump cleared again. Anytime you think they got Trump on something, he gets cleared. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. The two big stories I had today, the one with Greenland and Denmark, and then the fake story about the U.S. citizens being arrested by ICE. I want to go back to the Denmark story and recap it for people that are just tuning in. This story is insane. And there was a story in the New York Post and in the Gateway Pundit. I have these stories linked up on my X, Brian Craig Show on X. And last year, the Prime Minister of Greenland not only admitted all of this was true, but apologized to the natives of Greenland. Here's the headline. Native Greenlanders reveal horrors under Danish rule, including years of forced sterilization and removal of children. An exclusive report by the New York Post. They spoke with native Greenlanders about some of the disturbing abuse under Danish rule, including hundreds of Greenlandic women and girls who were forcibly given contraception between 1960 and 1991. Between 66 and 1970, just in 4 years, listen to this, between 1966 and 1970, in a 4-year period, over 4,500 women and girls, some as young as 12 years old, had IUDs implanted without their consent or even knowledge. The forced contraception was part of a century of Danish policies that dehumanized Greenlanders and their families and included policies that removed young Inuit children from their parents. The 1951 Little Danes experiment removed Inuit children from the country of Greenland and sent them to live with Danish foster families for re-education and controversial parental competency test, which resulted in the forced separation of Greenlandic families. The New York Post goes on, Amarok Peterson was 27 years old when she learned the gut-wrenching truth about why she couldn't have children, and that Denmark was to blame. Suffering from severe uterine problems, a medical doctor discovered an IUD birth control device in her body that she didn't know she had. Danish doctors had implanted it when she was just 13 years old as part of a population control program for thousands of native Greenlandic girls and women. Peterson told the New York Post, with tears, anger, and sorrow in her eyes, "I will never have children. That choice was taken from me by the Kingdom of Denmark." Following a 2-year investigation, independent researchers have released a report on the forced sterilization. Denmark's prime minister apologized to Greenland last year. So we have these Nazis who, and what they did resulted in, and they did this for over 100 years. So there were over 11,000 women and girls as young as 12 who were sterilized, had IUDs implanted, or which I guess is sterilization too, or had their children snatched from them. Over 11,000 over 100 years. This 4-year period between 66 and 1970 resulted in a 50% decrease in the birth rate in Greenland. These 6 psychotic European colonizers of Denmark were involved in population control in Denmark that did not end until 1992 when Bill Clinton became president. And they did this to control this big land of Greenland without the population growing and outgrowing them so they could continue to steal from Greenland all their resources. These are Nazis you're supporting in Denmark. Modern day Nazis. And by the way, they've admitted it. They've confessed to it. So this is a fact. They don't even deny it. And this was the government. And since it was so recent during the Clinton years, these are people that are still alive that are affected by this. We're not going back in time 500 years to that first rowboat that landed. This is during the Clinton presidency this happened. And by the way, it doesn't say that they stopped just because they got caught. So we don't know how long this really went on. These are evil people, or as George W. Bush would say, evildoers in the Kingdom of Denmark. So you Democrats out there, you never Trumpers, you're supporting a king. You're supporting white European colonizing forces, and you're supporting Nazis. This is right out of Auschwitz, what they've been doing over there in Greenland. It's god awful. It is medieval and it is Nazi-like, maybe even Nazi. Remember, Denmark was neutral in the beginning of the war. They didn't take a position against Chancellor Hitler. All right, let's take our first break of the 8 o'clock hour. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. It is tax season. Oh, man. You know, when it comes to taxes, you want to call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. I'll get something to write with. I'm going to give you his number in just a moment. With the big, beautiful bill, the entire tax code has changed. Jamie Levac from Swift Tax will make sure that you get all the deductions you're entitled to, and you get the biggest possible tax return that you can get. And you know, with Jamie Levac at Swift Tax, you can get your tax return in as little as 24 hours. He's located right here in South Florida, but he can help you no matter where you are in the United States with your federal taxes, your local taxes, your state taxes, your business taxes, even the bookkeeping for your business. If you have another accountant, call Jamie Levac. Have him review your taxes, okay? Have him review them. He is very, very good. Here's his number. You can call or text Jamie Levac at Swift Tax, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. Back after this.
Hello.
Hey, Barry, it's Brian.
Good morning, Brian.
Hey, we have about 90 seconds. I'm gonna put you on hold. We'll be right back to you.
Okay.
All right, stand by.
Here and
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. So what do you have for us this morning?
Well, I mean, at this point of January, people already many people have already given up on their New Year's resolutions. In fact, there's a day, I think it's around January 9th, which is the quit day, where people quit their New Year's resolutions. So if that's you, or if you're just not on track with your New Year's resolution, and if that included getting your estate plan taken care of, making sure that it's up to date, then there's some things you could do to take action on that to make sure that you and your family are protected and get that resolution done. One of the things is attend one of our seminars. We actually have two of them today in Wellington. We're doing a living trust seminar at 10 a.m. this morning, and then we're also doing a Medicaid planning seminar this afternoon at 2 p.m., both in Wellington at the Fairfield Inn. So if you haven't made your plans today, and this sounds interesting, something that you want to check off your list, all you need to do is to call our office, let us know you want to attend. We do have some space available in each of those. So if you want to attend, just call our office, and you'll get to learn about living trusts and all the different estate planning things that you need to know to protect your family in the morning, and then in the afternoon, you'll get to learn about how to protect your assets from the cost of long-term care using Medicaid.
Yeah, and I'm getting to the point where my mother is she's a widow, she's retired, and I'm getting to the point, Barry, where I don't know, I might have to call you. Can you help? I need power of attorney, maybe just as a pre. Are these some of the things that you help with, getting power of attorney? So in case while Mom still has her wits about her, are these the things you help with?
Well, for sure, we do powers of attorney all the time. Those are included in all the estate plans that we prepare, whether it be a living trust or a will plan.
Yeah.
And we do the power of attorney, all the health care documents, the health care surrogate.
Yeah.
So we do all those things. And power of attorney is not only important in your estate plan, but it's also very important to make sure that you can qualify for Medicaid in the future if your income is above the limit. God forbid you lose your mental capacity. So it's a very important document that we should have, not just to make sure that we have a power of attorney, but that we have the right power of attorney.
You hear that, guys? That's right. The right. I didn't even know there was a different kind, Or listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call. Attend one of these workshops, or both, if you can. And if you can't attend these, attend the next one, because the workshops that Attorney Barry Siegel and his law firm put together they're very informative. You'll learn a lot, And even though I talk to Barry almost every day here on the program, and I've been to more than a dozen of the workshops, I still learn every time I go to one. And you also get to meet Attorney Barry Siegel and his staff. And so you get to know the people that are going to be involved in putting together your revocable living trust or your Medicaid planning. The number is toll-free 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, you take care. All right, we're back. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys. Don't go anywhere. I don't usually do this, but I wanted to... I'll apologize in advance. I'm going to play an audio soundbite of Michelle Obama. Oh, I know, it's tough. Michelle Obama, she just won't go away. But this is really a frightening thing that she says. Listen.
If I hear of someone whose fashion that I like and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available. I think we can all do some work to think about that balance in our wardrobes.
Okay, so Michelle Obama racially discriminates when shopping for clothes. She's telling a group of black women, and the reason I play this came out yesterday. I saw this. Yesterday was Martin Luther King Day. And, of course, Martin Luther King had a dream, and that was a dream of a colorblind society where his children were judged not by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. And here we have the first African-American First Lady, who's the wife of the first African-American president, throwing Martin Luther King's dream in the garbage can on Martin Luther King Day, saying that you should racially segregate when deciding where to do your shopping. And that you should shop in black businesses, buy from black people, do not shop with non-black people. That's not Martin Luther King's dream, Michelle Obama. That's racism, that's discrimination, it is bigotry, and it's a form of segregation. And it's scary that her and her husband, with these hardcore racist views, were running this country for 8 years. And almost all the problems we have, like the Somali pirates of Minneapolis, all go back to her and her husband. Terrible comments she made there. Could you imagine? I could not imagine. What if Melania said, "Well, I only buy fashion from white clothing makers. Only buy fashion from white companies." What would people say? And you know what? They'd be right in saying it. But Melania would never say that because unlike Michelle Obama, Melania is not a racist. Melania is not a bigot like Michelle Obama is. To talk that way on Martin Luther King Day is disgusting. Martin Luther King would be sickened by Michelle Obama. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, how you doing? My name is James calling from Texas. How's it going?
James in Texas. What's on your mind?
Man, I was calling because I was kind of like debating with Alexis last night and come to realize that the people that program it, they give it like liberal talking points.
That is true.
And stuff like
Alexa
that.
is liberal,
So
yes.
When I went to debating, if you don't know the truth, it'll gaslight you and tell you lies until you got to make it admit it. Because once you admit what the truth is, it won't really come out with it unless you mention it. I said, okay.
Unless you mention it, he said, yes.
Right. And you know the truth, and you know what the truth is.
But let me tell you, how old are you?
I'm 54.
Okay, you're old enough to remember the Magic 8 Balls? You'd ask it a question, turn it upside down, and then it'd give you an answer at the bottom. Remember those?
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember the Magic 8 Balls?
Okay.
Oh, well, what I was going to say, people out there in the audience, arguing with Alexa is like arguing with the Magic 8 Ball. I mean, it's an inanimate object. You're right, Alexa's very liberal and programmed by liberals. There's no doubt about it. Yep. What were you arguing with Alexa about? What topic?
The first topic I went with Bad Bunny. And it was saying the reason why Bad Bunny didn't want to come to America and do a concert because he was worried about the security of his fans outside of ICE going to be out there trying to see who was illegal. So I said, well, then why is he coming to the Super Bowl then? It tried to gaslight me and tell me like, oh, it's more security there.
Bad Bunny. Okay, Bad Bunny is an American. Bad Bunny's Puerto Rican, correct?
Right.
Bad Bunny's an American,
right.
And what that's called is virtue signaling to just try to get people to go to the concert buy concert tickets or watch them at the Super Bowl. You know, I mean, it's yeah.
So, but other than that. Then I went to asking about the laws when you come across the border illegally, and it said like, oh, it's just a fine, it's a ticket. The second time it get worse and worse. So I said, well, can they get rid? It was making it seem like it wasn't no deported issue. Then they said, yeah, you can be deported for being here illegal. Then I said, well, then, because I was trying to see why they had a Bad Bunny would have a problem with the police doing their job. Because they're going to be out, they're going to do their job no matter what. Law enforcement going to be wherever they be.
I got to tell you, if Bad Bunny walked into the studio right now, I wouldn't know who they were. If you play, I don't know, I don't know what Bad Bunny looks like.
Right.
If you played me a Bad Bunny song, I wouldn't even know it. But same
thing with me.
And the Super Bowl halftimes, they really suck so much. I mean, they have terrible people all the time, not just but whatever. I'm gonna go.
Okay. Now, this the part that messed me up when they tried to justify why they was over here illegal. It was just like tickets or something.
Tickets. It's just tickets. Yes.
Right. So when I let them know, I said, well, so it went all the way to the Fourth Amendment that they have the rights. I said, well, why would a legal have the rights when they still got those constitutional rights where we can't pull them over without a cause and all that. So that's the part was kind of having.
You really you have some deep conversations with Alexa. Are you married? Or you live alone? Right. Do you live alone?
Yeah, I'm married. I'm married and everything. But I did this because I was wondering why Homer always when he talked on TV, he said we just getting the worst of them out, the ones who got criminal crimes and all that. Which you got to do that. You got to operate within the law when you go and looking for these people. So I understand. So I'm like, I wonder why you just need to just take all of them out because they're here illegally. But you got to do it a certain way so it makes sense now to me.
Yeah. No, Alexa's very liberal. There's no doubt about it. The other day, my wife and I, we have an Alexa. I'm probably turning everybody's device on that's listening on the radio. I apologize, guys. But we have an Alexa in every room of the house, including the bathrooms. Okay, and basically we have it. We have it in every back. We have it on our back porch. Got one. I just have one in the garage. I mean, we got them everywhere. And so basically
I'm gonna tell you how I got it right.
Yeah.
Watch this here. When let's just say, well, ICE was arresting 70%, 100% of people that were arrested. 70% of them had crimes and all that stuff, but 30% of them didn't have crimes. I said, well, Alexa, isn't they illegal because they came across the border?
Yeah.
She said, yes. Well, then they can deport them. They still can deport them then.
Yeah.
So they were making it seem like it was an issue with the ones who they was picking up who didn't have a crime.
Well, you got to stop arguing with Alexa. You got to stop. You got to stop arguing. The thing about Alexa, hold on a second.
It's not arguing. It's not arguing. Making it.
All right, just give me. I agree with everything you're saying. But anyway, this is you got to watch out with Alexa. My wife and I were having a private conversation, my wife and I, in our home, just the two of us. I can't remember what we were talking about, but my wife and I were talking about something. We're the only ones in the house. And Alexa butted in and started responding to what we were talking about. And we didn't even ask Alexa for her opinion. I couldn't believe it. Alexa is always listening to you and spying on you. Right. And God only knows what they're doing with the data that they're collecting from you.
Right. Because someone just sued them for all the TVs who was collecting your data.
Yeah.
I think they sued all them TV companies, Samsung, all of them, because they was collecting stuff. So now they can't do it no more.
But you know what? When I was you may not have known about the Magic 8-Ball, which I haven't gotten over yet. But when I was a kid and I would watch the original Star Wars, and everybody, Luke, Han, Leia, they're so rude to 3PO. And I could never understand why they're so rude to C-3PO until I got Alexa. And C-3PO is like Alexa, because I'm always telling Alexa to shut up. All right, Alexa, enough. Turn off. You know what I mean? I talk to Alexa like they talk to C-3PO in Star Wars. All right, I got to run. I'm late for the break, but take care. We will be right back. It's true, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Am I the only one surprised that he did not know what the magic 8 ball was? Yes or no? Do you guys know what the magic 8 ball is? That you would ask questions of. I was really surprised to hear that he didn't know what that was. Everybody remember? Come on. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. It was He said he was 54. How could he not know what the magic 8 ball? We're in a radio station break right now, guys, for a couple minutes. So stand by. If you'd like to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. All right. Yeah, 888-465-2631. I mean, I was surprised that he didn't know what the magic 8 ball was. Weren't you? Okay, we got 2 minutes and we'll be back, guys. 2 minutes. Let's see. What do I got to do here? Okay. Less than 2 minutes now. Hold on, guys. I'll be right there. Okay, stand by, guys. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Call us on hold. Stand by. This is Fox News out of Minneapolis yesterday.
DHS announced tonight that they have arrested a total of some 3,000 illegal immigrants in Minnesota, including over the weekend several convicted of crimes such as homicide and sexual assault. Meantime, several dozen protesters remain here at the federal building, protesting the actions of federal agents, but they are staying behind the newly erected barriers put here by the Hennepin County Sheriff's Department. It is a simple and effective so far measure that raises the obvious question: why didn't local law enforcement do this last week?
Okay. So, you know, the 3,000 illegals arrested in Minnesota. And, you know, it's important to point out, you know, who are these Democrats? What are you protesting? You want murderers and sex offenders on the streets of Minneapolis? What? I don't understand. Do they even know what they're protesting? Are they really protesting? I mean, who would advocate to have more murderers and sex offenders on their streets? Well, I guess the paid protesters that the Democrats have. And this has actually been an amazingly successful operation in Minnesota. And I'm wondering, maybe one day we'll get the details on this. You know, you heard the guy from Fox talking about these barricades they put up on the sidewalk. And they put those same barricades up on the sidewalk up in Palm Beach when the president is driving by. And it keeps the people out of the streets. And you got to wonder, I wonder if ICE got very strategic and was herding these protesters to certain areas. Do you understand what I mean? Because obviously they do have the ability to control the crowds at some level. That's what Fox was pointing out here. And he says, why didn't they do this earlier? Well, maybe they had all these protesters over in this area like a magician, right? But they were over here arresting and deporting 3,000 illegals. And maybe they are, this is the Trump administration in the second. These are very, very smart people. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Charles from Stewart.
Charles from Stewart in MAGA, Martin County. What's on your mind, Stewart?
Well, a couple things. I'm tired of hearing this term peaceful protest. It's anything but.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And this stuff with this anti-white stuff, isn't that reverse racism?
Yeah. It's illegal.
Yeah, I mean, even and you watch the squad. I call them the children in Congress. They act like a bunch of like junior high school students, and the other thing with the border, there's another thing. Mayorkas kept saying the border was closed, and it's obviously that it wasn't. I just wanted to bring those points up because it's so obvious what's going on. But I don't know why people. You know what they do? The far left stretches the truth so far that if you believe some of it, you know what I'm saying? They overshoot.
Well, there are very few liberals today, really. There really are. Their numbers are fewer than they've ever been. People are getting. I mean, did you see the president last night at the University of Miami, Indiana game?
No, but I did see the game, but I missed that part.
Oh, I watched the game. I watched the game. It was a good game.
Oh, well, yeah, but they lost.
Actually, we had a little conflict in my house over there. My wife went to Florida State, so we usually root against the University of Miami. But the quarterback,
is she a Gator or a Seminole?
my wife is a Seminole, right? So we don't like the Gators, right? But the quarterback from Indiana, he went to high school right down the street from the University of Miami. In Miami.
Right, they mentioned that.
Yeah, my nephew went to graduated with him at that high school there.
Oh, wow.
So even though Indiana won, Florida we still kind of won because that Heisman Trophy winning quarterback is a Florida guy. So we still won.
Well,
we didn't lose anything. But anyway, it was good. I watched the game. But
I did too.
When the president came out at the beginning, the crowd went nuts for him. They love President Trump.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, they love him.
It was during the national anthem.
He's a good president. He's a great president, and you know what? The left doesn't like him because he beat Hillary and Kamala. That's why they can't stand him because they thought when Hillary was good, they thought it was in the bag with Hillary.
Oh,
and
yes.
What happened was Trump ruined their let's feel good about ourselves party.
These Democrats always think it's in the bag. I remember back in 2004. John Kerry was running against George W. Bush. And
that idiot.
yeah. And I knew that was going to do well because that we were going to win that. Although Bush, we have problems with Bush now, but right. No president has lost re-election during wartime, and the Iraq War was really hot then. But John Kerry, the Democrats were so. Do you know what John Kerry did on Election Day? Have you ever heard this story?
Something stupid, I'm sure.
Everything John Kerry does is stupid. Yes. Do you remember what he did?
Are you vaguely? What do you do? I remember this vaguely.
Okay, maybe it's this or maybe it's something else. John Kerry on Election Day in 2004 took his entire campaign staff out for lobster lunch in Boston and told them what their job was going to be in the White House. That's how confident he was that he was going to win.
Oh,
the Democrats always think it's in the bag because they think they represent the people.
But, something very interesting on a little side note, Trump is now a historical footnote because he's the only president beside Grover Cleveland who got elected twice separately.
Yeah.
The Dems can't stand that.
And he's the only president with a mugshot?
Yeah, right. He made history more than once.
Absolutely. All right, hey, I appreciate the call.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care. All right, our number is 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ. Turn down. Can you turn down the volume in the background? That's my favorite show you got on. It's the greatest show in the history of radio.
It
but
absolutely is.
it is so good. Turn it down. He's got. For those that don't get it, he's listening to me in the background. I could hear myself.
That's
just
right.
in case you didn't notice.
I've got you on the TV on YouTube.
Awesome.
But I listened to saw Michelle Obama. To me, Michelle and Barack, they're sort of representative of the entirety, the entire Democrat Party. I mean, to me, those two, they're both racists.
Mm-hmm.
They use tribal victimhood and this inversion values. You just had a gentleman on that mentioned the peaceful protests. They change the words, the phrases, and definitions, and it's all basically just to cause, they have to feed their hungry fish.
Yeah.
And they created these people, and they don't want them to learn how to fish. They got to keep them.
You know what it is? You know what it is with the Obamas? They're a lot like, did I lose you? No, I got you back.
Just for a second.
Okay. The Obamas, they're a lot like OJ. They're very white. They're all around white people, but OJ, after he killed two people, white people wanted nothing to do with him, so he started going to black church. The Obamas, nobody's really interested in Michelle Obama, so the only place that she could find groups of people that are interested in her are in circles she never wanted to travel in, and those are black circles. And she tells them what they want to hear, so they'll have her on. I mean, it's really sad. She could have been such an important historical person, but she's such a racist.
She's incredible. It's almost unbelievable how racist they are. And it's sort of like all of it. It's all like made to order. Everything is so friggin' fake. The history, you had the gentleman on much earlier in the show. I use the word gentleman nonetheless, but talking about the big switch.
Oh, yes.
It's sort of this made-to-order ink, this made-to-order, history. It's a lie versus truth, cold versus hot. It's just, create the thunderstorm. The truth be damned. If there's not a Rahm Emanuel, never let a crisis go to waste. Well,
That's
if they
right.
don't have a crisis, they've got to create one. It's like the Democrat production company from hell. Every time they open their mouth, like with this good woman that got that.
Well, listen, I got to run. I got to
tragic.
run for the break, but I agree with everything you said. Good call. All right, take care. I want to talk about the Slomin's home security system, free home security offer with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for $24.95 a month for 5 years. Give them a call, 833-283-5050. A free home security system and professional installation, absolutely free. Your Slomin's home security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access so you can check in from anywhere, anytime. Give them a call, no matter where you're located, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. Back after this.
Hello.
Hey there. We have about 45 seconds. I'm going to put you on hold just for a moment. Stand by. All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with today's Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking?
Metals looking incredibly strong again, setting new record highs as gold hits $4,728 today, up $57.30 again, another record day. Silver breaking another record today, up $1.18 at $95.40 the ounce. Platinum up $38 at $2,413, and palladium up $33 at $1,853 the ounce. So the metals are continuing their roaring advances, and there seems to be no end in sight at this particular time, Brian.
You know, this is amazing. 90. What did you say silver was? No.
Silver is $95.40 an ounce.
Wow. I mean, this is we used to dream of days like this. I mean, we're less than $5 away from $100 an ounce for silver. But you know, you were telling us at the end of last week. You know, of course, we talk about the precious metals, but other metals like copper is even up. You were telling us last week. It's all the metals.
Yes. Yep. People, in fact, we've had people trying to buy copper from us. We only had a limited supply, and that's been bought out very quickly.
Wow.
But and copper is a very hard metal to trade because it's traded in pounds, and that takes a lot of weight and structure. So I think if you're thinking about buying copper, you need to buy some of the other metals that are easily tradable and that you can actually store physically. So things like platinum, palladium. And of course, silver and gold. But
yeah, absolutely. You know,
these metals are going up together.
When it comes to silver, I mean, at $95 an ounce, what are some of the best deals? I mean, this is insane. What are some of the best deals on silver for people that may not have bought any metals before, but they're like, hey, this sounds really good. I want to get involved in this. Where can people start when it comes to silver right now that may not have a lot of money but want to get involved in the metals?
Yeah. I think they should definitely be buying the 1 ounce coins from the different countries, especially the United States Eagles, the kangaroos from Australia's Perth Mint, are beautiful 1 ounce pure silver coins that are very affordable and gives everybody the opportunity to do so. These sovereign mints may not be able to produce coins at the rate silver is being bought up. There's a lot of talk that some of the sovereign mints are not able to get the silver to produce their coinage anymore. So if that being said, you may see the premiums on these coins rising very soon.
Yeah.
So take advantage of the low premiums on the U.S. Silver Eagles, the kangaroos, the Philharmonics from Austria, and even South Africa produces a silver Krugerrand.
Oh, I didn't know that.
All these coins, and Britain produces a beautiful 1 ounce silver coin called the Britannias.
Yes,
so
those
we have
are
all
beautiful.
these in stock, and it makes it, and they're very affordable for investors just getting started.
Well, listen, give William Youngerman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. And remember, you can do all your transactions over the phone and through the mail. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. If you want to stop into his shop, it's 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And you can find both his address and phone number on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
I also want to thank everybody for their patience because due to the volume, we have lines of people coming in to our place all day long. So please be patient if you're standing in line or if you're waiting. We appreciate it, and we have a limited staff, and we are trying to service everybody. So again, thank you for your business.
Well, it's not just that the metals are hot. The word's out on the street that they're in short supply, except at William Youngerman's, where everything is available for immediate delivery. So they're coming from far and wide. All right, William Youngerman, have a great day. We'll talk on Wednesday.
Thank you. You too.
All right, Take care. You know, this story, I talked about it for most of the show yesterday, but it was a holiday, and I want to mention this at the end. This church raid that Don Lemon did, he's in some big trouble. This is Blanche. He was on Will Kane yesterday afternoon, and he's Deputy Attorney General, and he was President Trump's attorney in one of those cases in New York.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what you saw there was anti-Christian, anti-law enforcement rioters storming a church in this country. And that's a violation of law. And we are absolutely investigating. Our Civil Rights Unit has already sent experts out to Minneapolis today. The Civil Rights Unit, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, DHS is investigating this, because what you saw the fear in the eyes of the members of that church. That fear should be extended to every single American that's happening in a city in this country, and we are investigating it aggressively.
Yeah. You know, one of the things, you know, the left, they've been demonstrating against their own people, right? Liberal people that are regular residents of Minneapolis and St. Paul, and things are really getting out of hand. And what the Democrats are not accustomed to are consequences. But anyway, the reason I shared Todd Blanche, he's the Deputy Attorney General, and he's very, very good. But we're still, it seems to me, Todd Blanche is almost like the Attorney General now, right? That presidential. I hope I've lost all. I hope Pam Bondi redeems herself, because I like Pam Bondi. We've had her on the show. She was our Attorney General for 8 years here in Florida. I've always liked her. I've met her, and we all like Kash Patel. But for whatever reason, they haven't been able to do whatever it is that we want them to do. And you know, one thing I've learned in my life, if I've learned anything, is that you can never, if somebody is doing something and you're trying to come to a conclusion as to why they're doing it, you're almost always wrong. So I know there's a lot of speculation about Pam Bondi, about why she hasn't arrested these people. And probably our speculation is wrong, because when you try to guess someone's motivations for whatever they do, you're almost always wrong. That's something I've learned in life. But there's something going on there. And I want her to be redeemed, because I've always liked her. And I'm not going to go through when we had her on the show in studio, but it was one of the most bizarre shows we ever had when we had Pam Bondi in studio. Those of you that are longtime listeners, you know what I'm talking about. But the Justice Department is taking this Don Lemon raid on the church very serious. This is the guys on the Charlie Kirk show yesterday. Listen to this.
Just tell you, an independent source has just confirmed with me that the DOJ and DHS has possession of all the camera footage from Don Lemon showing what appears to be a violation of the FACE Act. So it seems like there's a whole of government approach to dealing with this and bringing...
Okay, so the Justice Department has somehow gotten a hold of all of Don Lemon's camera footage. Yesterday was a national holiday, Martin Luther King Day, a 3-day weekend. The entire Justice Department, except for Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, were all over this story yesterday. The president has them on this story, and they were all over the media talking about it. This is serious business with Don Lemon and these paid agitators in Minneapolis. Trump's not messing around with them. All right, let's take some more calls. We're approaching the end. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, morning. Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Hey, in the famous words of Whoopi Goldberg years ago, just suck it up, okay? We won.
Those are famous words of Whoopi? I missed that. When did she say that? Was that in Ghost? I don't remember that.
No. On The View, those
The View.
You know what? The cousin of The View.
The coven,
So yeah,
yes.
Whoopi Goldberg was like pointing her finger, like if you look at what these Democrats do, they're always pointing their finger. Their finger and their hands are always waving all over the place. Lies. She said, suck it up. So you guys suck it up. Obama was you guys' king. You praise him. And Trump is our king. Okay? You deal with it. Just deal with it. We're winning and you're losing. You're not calling and laughing anymore, huh? You're just throwing stones. You're throwing stones at glass houses that you created.
Well, what I was talking about yesterday, and it looks like I may have been right about this. I was talking about the church raid that Don Lemon led with these lunatics. I can't play the clips from you because they're dropping F-bombs all over the church. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. But it looks that my prediction that this is a turning point in Minneapolis, and it very well may be a turning point. When they start attacking their own local liberal residents, and people are getting tired of them in the community, that's when things will turn on Fry and Tim Walz.
Well, when you go into the church, you went way beyond boundaries and lines. But since you mentioned Todd Blanche, I've always wanted to talk about Todd Blanche because he's always been in the background. This guy is like the encyclopedia, like Charlie Kirk was an encyclopedia of knowledge, but he goes
Indeed.
back to law.
Yes.
He's been there in the trenches when Trump was in New York with that judge giving the jury the wrong information. And I've always wanted to say this. Todd Blanche has always been there, and he should be in the position of Pam Bondi.
Well, maybe he is.
He's the mastermind behind
Maybe
this.
he is running
He's
the
the
Justice Department. You know,
He's
maybe
the
he is.
mastermind behind this, and Trump leans on him, and this guy is very important to our cause.
Mhm.
And that's all I wanted to say.
All right,
today.
all right. Well, I
Todd Blanche-
appreciate the call. And I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. If you've not done it yet, call. Schedule your no-charge consultation. It was a year ago today, because today is the first anniversary of Trump's second inauguration. It was a year ago today that I first met with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And here we are. I lost more weight than I planned on losing, and I've kept it all off. I weigh what I weighed 29 years ago when my wife and I got married, and you can too. Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you no matter where you are located. Call them 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300 and schedule your no-charge consultation. Online, coastalweightlossecret.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sarah from Florida. You know, did you read about that Pete Hetz's church got attacked? Was
No.
that the one that, huh?
No, I
yeah,
didn't,
it was
no.
in Fox, but first story.
Oh, no, I didn't see it.
So,
They're attacking multiple
so
churches now. Oh, my goodness. So
yeah, the first lead story on Fox, you know, on the internet, and I was like, wow, I thought that was the church originally that they were going after, but you read it, they're attacking his church too. Because
Wow.
he's from Minnesota.
So there's an epidemic of church attacks possibly beginning with the Democrats. They better back off. They're not, they don't want to mess around with that. All right, I appreciate it. Well, listen, that's about all the time we have for today. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. And if you're on hold, you'll be first in line on tomorrow's show. We've had some really good calls today. Some liberally impaired people called in and I think maybe learned a few things. But the stories we covered today, both this Denmark crime against Greenland, I mean, my goodness, the truth of ICE arresting U.S. citizens. We covered a lot of great stories today. And you guys on the phones, most of you, not all, but most of you contributed a lot to the conversation, so thanks so much. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. See you then. All right, we're clear. Well, listen, guys, those of you that are new, make sure you subscribe. And guys, if you're already subscribed, please like the video and take the link, and share it on all your social media, if you don't mind, and be a part of the Brian Craig Show marketing team, and invite your friends and followers on all your socials, Truth Social, Facebook, X, whatever you got, and invite them to check the show out. And I want to remind you guys, I brought this back, my wife and I. We had this a long time ago, and we have brought it back. MAGA merch, our MAGA merch shop, which you can find in the link of my X. MAGA merch, we got all these great designs that my wife and I have created. If you go to my X, the link is in the profile. All right, MAGA merch, check it out. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk.